I'm Christine Lisi. A great start for the Jets joint practice today. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers connected deep with Garrett Wilson as fans roared in their approval. Things, though, went downhill from there. The Jets' offensive line dominated by the Buccaneers' defensive line. Rodgers sacked multiple times, got frustrated. The growing pains for New York's offense could take a while to work through. ESPN NFL analyst Booger McFarland.
Offense is about getting 11 guys on the same page, timing, rhythm, preciseness, cohesion. And the only way you get those things is you got to do it under live reps and under pressure. So they may struggle a little bit early, but that's what a great defense is about, and the Jets do have a really, really good defense.
ESPN's Jeremy Fowler's reporting Buccaneers receiver Russell Gage suffered a season-ending knee injury today. The Ravens, big hit to the thinnest position on their roster. Pro Bowl cornerback Marlon Humphrey will undergo surgery on a lingering foot injury. It's not yet known how long he'll be sidelined. A scare for the Titans today. Receiver Traylon Burks carted off the field with an apparent leg injury. The status of the former first-round pick uncertain.
Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
Chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Oh, look, I got a call coming in from Detroit, Michigan, right here as we start the show. The 313. No doubt this is I'm sure
it's legit?
I'm sure it's a totally legit close personal friend calling me from an unrecognized number in Detroit, Michigan.
Maybe it's Kid Rock. He's from Detroit.
Eminem.
Barry
Sanders, not from Detroit, but played in Detroit.
Same thing, kind of. It's Dan Campbell. He heard about the bit.
I would talk to Dan Campbell. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day.
It's hump day.
Let's hump, everybody.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Denver Harris watch.
Hump day.
Is he gone?
It's hump day.
Will he return?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Is he a bust?
Hump day.
Did you know he's Tack Miner's son?
It's hump day.
I learned that today.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Maddy Hudak in 15 minutes.
Hump day.
We got an Auburn camp check coming up later.
It's hump day.
We got Pluckers trivia.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We got Saints PFF grades.
Hump day.
We've got Bourbon Dictionary.
It's hump day.
We got a ton. We actually got a ton to get to. Jalen Smith met with the media.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Mike Norvell, trash talking LSU. Not really.
It's hump day.
Talking about LSU.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Keep my team's name out your mouth.
Hump day.
Mike Norvell.
It's hump day.
All right, let's get going. We got a lot to get to here. Let us begin the day today as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Okay, so I think the question that every single LSU fan, for one reason or another, has been asking here over the last several days is, what is the latest with Denver Harris? And I understand why that has been a topic of conversation. He is an interesting figure, a polarizing figure. He is a former 5-star recruit. You know the story. Went to Texas A&M a year ago, was a knucklehead, essentially got run out there, transferred to LSU. And to this point in camp, Denver Harris has been running third team. When the media was allowed to watch on Monday, Denver Harris was not there. He was not there Tuesday or today. After practice today, Brian Kelly met with reporters, and as you might expect, the first question out the chute is, hey, man, what's up with Denver Harris?
Denver is handling some personal matters, and if he takes care of everything, could have him back this weekend.
Okay, so not dismissed from the team, taking care of personal matters. Here's what I'm comfortable saying up until this point, because you hear a lot. You tried to decipher what is valid info, what is good info, what do you hear that you can corroborate from multiple different people, and here's what I'm very comfortable saying: that Denver Harris was sent home. I'm comfortable saying that the coaches sent him home. And as you recall, last week there was a fight at practice. We all saw it. I mean, the media was standing right in front of it. And Denver Harris was involved in it. We talked about the particulars with Harold Perkins and Major Burns and Malik Neighbors and Kyron Lacey and how that scrum happened. And I mentioned Denver Harris was right in the middle of it. He took his helmet off. I don't know why you would ever take your helmet off in the middle of a fight with a bunch of people wearing helmets, but he did. And then something that I was told last week is that the fight did continue in the locker room. I have no particulars beyond that. I don't know how it started, how severe it was, if it was just shoving or yelling. So it's just that all of that happened on the field continued. Do you remember they sent Malik Neighbors and Kyron Lacey into the locker room, and I sat here saying, I can't believe they let Harold Perkins and Major Burns stay at practice because they were right in the middle of it as well. Well, apparently the coaches were fearful of the fight continuing in the locker room. If you send the guys that were fighting off together, maybe that continues. So in any event, one of the other things that was an important note from the fight last week was Brian Kelly called the team together, and some of the reporters that were there at practice noted they heard Brian Kelly say, and I'm paraphrasing, if you respect your brothers, if you keep this up, keep doing this, you're going to go 500 this season. Implying that it wasn't the first fight. And that's kind of what I've been told, is that there have been multiple instances, and Denver had kind of been mixed up in a lot of it. And so that's where that is right now. They sent him home. Apparently, they're trying to get him sorted out and hopefully get him back soon. My guess, this is where I'll step aside and I will speculate here. My guess is that this is rooted in frustration for Denver Harris. This is a guy that everybody knows was a 5-star when he came out of high school. He is a very talented guy and went to A&M. Was a bit of a knucklehead. Was limited last year because of the off-the-field issues, and then comes to LSU and is running third team. They weren't handing him anything. So he's running third team, and y'all, I've been asked this question a good bit. Was Denver Harris running third team because they're trying to teach him a lesson, or was it that he just wasn't playing well? Y'all, maybe it started as Denver Harris was running third team because they weren't going to hand him anything. They were going to make him earn it. But I went back and looked at my notes from every practice so far, and I didn't chart a win for Denver Harris in 1-on-1, 7-on-7s, any of that stuff. The first day of practice, Shelton Sampson indoors ran a go route, and he dusted Denver Harris by 5 or 6 yards. The day of the fight, last Monday, when they were running 1-on-1s, corner against wide receiver, Kyron Lacey beat Denver Harris on a deep ball. That was the day, if you remember, where I charted 22 reps, cornerback against receiver, and the receivers won 20 of the 22 reps. So, yeah, I think a lot of it, again, this is me speculating, I think a lot of this is rooted in frustration because the offense was having so much success against the defense. Denver Harris, who has high expectations, was not performing well. It was running third team. Tempers flare, and I think that's where a lot of this started, okay? But I want to remind you of this. Back in the spring, Brian Kelly when they had brought Denver Harris here, was asked about that decision to bring Denver Harris to LSU, given the checkered off-field instances in College Station. This is what Brian Kelly said in the spring about Denver Harris.
This was not a decision that we just said, here's a great player. He had to fit. We felt like, we did our due diligence in terms of his background. And we felt with the culture in which we have put together here that he would make it here because the culture is really strong. And it's proven to be that he's done well early on, and he has no choice. He has to make it.
He has no choice. He has to make it. He has no choice. He has to make it. What Brian Kelly's telling you is, look, Denver Harris already used his one-time transfer. If he leaves LSU, he's going JUCO or FCS level. He wants to play at this level, he's got to fall in line and make it here. That's what Brian Kelly was saying right there. And they haven't even gotten to the first playing date, and there's already issues. Now, I'll tell you this, and I'll say this. Ask yourself this question. If Denver Harris hadn't been a 5-star coming out of high school, would you care? Would you care? That's one of these instances of the recruiting rankings probably doing this kid a disservice because there's heightened awareness and people care more because he was a 5-star, although up until this point in his college career, he hasn't played to that. Up until this point in camp, Deuce Chestnut and Zy Alexander are undeniably your best cornerbacks. I don't care that one of them was at Syracuse and one of them was at Southeastern. Those two guys, up until this point, which we have all seen, I'm not guessing, I'm not speculating, I'm not telling you what I heard, I'm telling you my eyeballs have been out there at every practice but one, and your two best cornerbacks are Chestnut and Alexander, and it ain't close. Your next two are LaTerrence Welch, a sophomore, and Ashton Stamps, a true freshman who did not have a national ranking when he signed with LSU in November. Because J.K. Johnson is injured and Denver Harris is not with the program, your only other scholarship cornerbacks are true freshmen Jeremiah Hughes and Ryan Robinson. So if you're following me, your healthy available cornerback room today is 2 transfers, a true sophomore, and 3 true freshmen. The Denver Harris situation affects you not because you're missing out on a great player who's massively impactful and was going to have a key role against Florida State. It's your depth is thin right now with no Denver Harris and no J.K. Johnson. That's the bigger thing. If you're focusing on this because, man, he's the most talented guy, this or that, I don't care if he can run fast and jump high. What I'm telling you is eyeballs, the dude has not won a job, hasn't even come close to it so far what we've seen. So I'm not worried about it from that standpoint. You want to talk about projectability, if the light bulb comes on, sure, if. But the bigger thing for LSU today is depth at cornerback. Because, I'll say it again, transfer from Syracuse, transfer from Southeastern, a sophomore in LaTerrence Welch, and 3 true freshmen. That's your healthy available cornerback room right now. That's your problem. All right, if Denver Harris is back with LSU by this weekend, we'll certainly let you know when we have our next availability. Okay, it's After Further Review, our show up and every day brought to you by Bud Light. Remember, our Friends in Low Places contest is rolling on right now. You can win 2 sweet tickets to watch Garth Brooks in the Dome September the 2nd, courtesy of Mockler Beverage and Bud Light. All you got to do, get creative. Make a video of you with your Friends in Low Places. 60 seconds or less. Get as creative as you want. Doesn't have to have that song in it. Can be whatever you want. Garth music, just get creative as you want. You got to have a Bud Light in the video. Make your video, post it on social media, tag Mockler Beverage and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We will announce the winner a week from Monday. So the Monday before the show. We're looking forward to it. It's the Friends in Low Places sweet ticket giveaway to watch Garth in the Dome Saturday, September the 2nd in the Mockler Beverage Suite. Good luck. Okay, let me knock out a quick break. We'll talk some Saints. Maddy Hudak is here next. Stick around.
AFR.
It is grand opening day at Rouse's. Of course, Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. How about this? Their Homa location on MLK down in Homa is now open, celebrating that today. Really cool. You can check out the Rouse's social media, see all of the photos on social media of the grand opening there at Rouse's in Homa. More than 60 Rouse's locations, and now that newest location on MLK in Homa. Y'all go check it out if you're down in the Bayou region. If you're down in Homa, get on by and see our friends over at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Get to Rouse's.com to get the weekly ad. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Download the Rouse's app. Remember, no matter what Rouse's location you're at, the Rouse's app has your personal shopper. They have curbside to-go and delivery options. So let your shopper do the shopping for you. You pull up into a spot, they bring your groceries out to you. It's at Rouse's. This feels like home.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Saints are wheels up today, out to L.A. Joint practices Thursday, Friday with the Chargers. They'll have a walkthrough Saturday and the preseason game on Sunday. Good opportunity to welcome aboard Maddy Hudak, get some reaction from the Chiefs game, look ahead to the Chargers game this coming weekend. Maddy, we appreciate it. How are you?
I'm good. It was actually an intriguing preseason film to watch, which I don't think I've ever said in my lifetime before.
Okay, why was it intriguing to watch?
Well, you had your starters out there for the first couple of series. I appreciate, that Kansas City also did the same thing because you were able to see what the starters on defense were really able to pull off. But I think all the things that media has been saying about the offense, just having some movement and some charisma to it, really displayed in those first couple series. I mean, we haven't seen the Saints move the ball downfield like that, I don't think, in 2 seasons.
A lot of the scuttle, and honestly, Matt, I think Derek Carr even talked about this after the game. He did talk about this after the game, was about how impressive it was with that first O-line group in there. What did you see from them?
They really are just working with a lot more chemistry than you'd seen in prior years. Just looking at film in the past, when Ruiz was kind of coming on, you'd see the amount of times either Ramchick or McCoy would have to kind of pay attention to what he was doing and perhaps miss something. But if you looked at every single guy on that line, they were all really handling their assignments really well. I think James Hurst has stepped into that left guard role really well, considering that he played primarily left tackle last season in place of Trevor Penning. And for Penning, he did have that one false start, but considering that this is really his first meaningful game time that we've seen from him since last year's preseason, the fact that they were able to get the run game going and that Derek Carr actually had a pocket to step up, and even if they were bringing more pressure from one side, I think he makes a big difference in his presence in the pocket as well. But you could just see more of a cohesive unit and one that wasn't as many, moving parts that we'd see in all training camp.
So if there was a contrast, it would have been the second O-line, right? I mean, Jameis Winston got sacked 3 times during his brief time in the game. So walk me through this, Maddie. When you look at the film, how much of a drop-off from that first unit to the second?
I'd say up the interior, it is a pretty strong drop-off. And again, that's just a huge credit to McCoy, Ruiz, and James Hurst because, just a couple seasons ago, everyone was really ragging on Cesar Ruiz, but he's really made a difference on that interior. And that's always kind of been the kryptonite of Saints quarterbacks, I think Derek Carr included. But it just seemed like those plays were really blowing up right at the start of them. There's not that much that Jameis Winston could have really done. The only thing I'd say is that there were a couple of times where Derek Carr saw a little bit of pressure, and he was able to dump that ball off to Alvin Kamara really quickly. That was kind of a problem with Jameis Winston under center, is sometimes he's kind of waiting for those plays to develop, but he just did not have time to go through his reads with that O-line. So it does go to show you how quickly the drop-off from first to second O-lineman is and how much of a premier position those starters really are.
Maddie, and I think an extension of that also was how the running backs played. Kamara was very good, obviously, with the first unit, and subsequently those units struggled. We saw Kendre Miller get injured, which sort of magnified the day that Ellis Merriweather had. I said on Monday, Maddie, that I thought he played really well in all 3 phases, running, catching, blocking. Of course, caught the touchdown pass. What did you see? Is this a guy that could maybe be that next to the undrafted free agent running back gems that the Saints have found, in the vein of guys like Chris Ivory and Pierre Thomas and Travaris Cadet? We all know the list. How did Merriweather look when you went back and watched it?
He looked impressive. He's one of the guys that now I'd kind of like to see him get earlier reps because if you look, he was primarily in third and fourth quarter with Jake Haener under center at quarterback. I honestly don't even know who the O-line was, but his physicality really stuck out to me because there was a point where the O-line just kind of fell down and he almost moved like the entire group of them forward. So seeing that kind of lower body power, that's something that Mark Ingram and really Latavius Murray also brought under center that Alvin Kamara just shouldn't really be doing. So if he's able to do that, and you saw kind of flashes from Tony Jones Jr. in the past, but you didn't see him getting involved in a passing game to the level that you saw Ellis Merriweather. And he also did pick up several blitzes at times that I picked up on as well. So, again, it's one of those things that he looked really good in the 4-team offense. I'd like to see him kind of move up, especially when you point out that Kendre Miller injury. And it does magnify the fact that Alvin Kamara is going to be out those first 3 games. You need to shape up that depth chart. So to me, I don't need to see Alvin Kamara in the game anymore. I'm not even sure I need to see Jamal Williams. I'd kind of like to see them really go through those lower guys and see how Ellis Merriweather fares in those earlier series.
What did you think about Jamal Williams in his first outing with the Saints?
He just was a great pass protector. I know he had some plays that really stuck out to me because, I'm just over at Tulane, we're talking about replacing Tajay Spears, and something that I think is super underrated was how good of a pass protector he was back there. And you saw him pick up blitzes several times and occupy really big linebackers and give Derek game. So just seeing that willingness from him really was an impressive thing.
Hey, you better remember Dan Campbell's name, or he'll bite your kneecaps off. You better remember that guy. He'll come out here and he'll fight you and bite you. All right, let me ask a couple of defensive questions. Maddy Hudak's with us on Twitter at Maddy Hudak _94. The linebackers I think are really interesting, and we highlighted a couple of guys here. Ty Summers and let's see, who was the other one? Connolly was the other. Ryan Connolly, 42 and 43. There's my problem is I keep just looking at numbers, Maddy. But I saw Pro Football Focus graded Anthony Orji as the #1 defensive rookie in their Pro Football Focus grades in Week 1 of the preseason. Did I just completely miss how well he played?
I'd just like to say I actually made a numerical roster on Excel earlier because I'm having the same type of issues. I did.
It's hard. You're learning new players, new numbers, new jerseys. It is difficult. And then the guys change jersey numbers. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, and actually, I was looking at Orji, and that's when Ryan Connolly stuck out to me. I'm like, oh, who is this guy kind of thing? But, again, noticing that he didn't really come in until the third quarter, what I saw out of him was stuff that you really aren't seeing out of the Saints starting linebackers. There was one play where he was actually lined up on the line of scrimmage in press coverage against a tight end, and he not only really disrupted his route, but he carried him in phase about 20 yards downfield and took him out, and that was one of the plays that required a quarterback scramble, and it just looks like he is really good at finding the ball carrier, scraping through traffic, and really his ability in coverage. You could see that he knew when to hand off guys, when to cover guys in the flat, and I think Pete Werner brought so much in his rookie year in run defense, but Quan Alexander was really that coverage linebacker that they had, and I think they're still kind of trying to find that guy. And so he stuck out to me the most in those coverage situations. Nefi Sewell or is it Penei Sewell? I get them confused. I believe it's Nefi.
It's Nefi, or I'd say Nefi, but Penei Sewell is the offensive lineman with Detroit with what's his face, Dan Campbell, who will bite your kneecaps off.
Yes, exactly. He stuck out to me as well. I think when you're out there with Pete Werner, you could tell how much he stepped into that leadership role of Demario Davis and really giving those guys the assignments of where to go. It stuck out to me, too, that they were running a credible amount of 3 linebacker sets, and that's something we've seen them do a lot in training camp. But what I saw them doing with Zach Vaughn was actually kind of using him in that vision of rushing him off the line of scrimmage in the way he was intended. And really one of the only plays he gave up in coverage was he was actually lined up as a blitzer on that play and then had to drop back. So they're asking a lot out of these, newer guys. And if nothing else, Demario Davis being out and seeing the fact that Sewell could kind of hold his own, and then DeMarco Jackson also came in there. It's still a position group I'm really not ready to make any type of conclusions on, but I appreciated you having me go back and look at Orji because that coverage ability and really just the press coverage ability stuck out as well.
He was a guy I watched a bunch at Vanderbilt, Maddy. I mean, he was one of the top tacklers in the SEC, so a lot of people here were familiar with him. And I was excited when they signed him, but I feel like I just overlooked him this past weekend in that game against Kansas City. So let's look ahead then to this coming weekend. So the Saints are obviously they're traveling today, joint workouts with the Chargers Thursday, Friday. They'll play on Sunday. What are you looking for? What would you like to see Sunday against LA?
I mean, hypothetically, I'd like to see the starting offensive line. I don't know how long that's going to kind of continue, but like I said, I'd like to see guys like Pete Werner and Alvin Kamara out. Only because I think that the leadership of Pete Werner and his ability to direct that traffic, I'd like to see if someone else can step up to the plate because Pete Werner has been the one that's missed more time over the last few seasons. Demario Davis hasn't missed a single game, I don't think. Maybe that COVID one. But, you kind of run more of a risk with him. That linebacker room suddenly becomes super thin. And again, on the running back side, guys like Merriweather, I'd like to see him actually try to kind of have a chance with a better O-line and earlier on in the game. And then I'd like to see the punter, Lou Hedley, a little more because I don't think that we've really seen enough consistency out of Blake Gillikin to be able to kind of say that, but we haven't seen Lou Hedley in really any meaningful time either. And Blake Grupe, what a way to really enter the NFL with that, time expiring situational type stuff. So I'm curious about those special teams guys as well, but I think Jake Haener getting a little more playing time as well because, I think we all kind of hyped him up. Unfortunately, throwing a pick in your first NFL start is not optimal, but I liked the way that he responded in his 2-minute drill. And so seeing if he really has that ability to be that third quarterback, or if you have to start looking at Taysom Hill and perhaps kind of putting him back more in that room and seeing how they use him a little more. I was surprised that they primarily relied on him as a pass-catching tight end, but I think we're all just kind of waiting for him to enter that running back room, especially now with Kendre Miller being out.
Interesting. Maddy, I'd like to congratulate you as well. 13 years of AFR. That is the first Lou Headley reference ever. And I think also the first time anyone has ever said they're excited to watch the backup punter in a preseason game. So you have reached absolutely degenerate football levels when you are looking for the backup punter in a preseason game. But such is life. So a hat tip to you for exploring new horizons here on AFR, Maddy.
Listen, this year it's special teams wins championships, I guess, is my go.
She is Maddy Hudak. Give her a follow on Twitter. All right, we appreciate it, Maddy. Thanks.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, be well. It's After Further Review. We'll now get a quick break. We're brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. I'm in there every Friday. Tell you all the time about hormone replacement therapy. It's simple. So weekly injection. You don't need an appointment. You go in. Every 6 months, they'll take your blood labs. So I would always recommend get your blood labs done anyway, even if you're not an HRT candidate, just so you can have Dr. Todd Howell, an MD, looking at your blood labs, looking at your levels of everything. I mean, it's incredible. You go to make sure that all your hormone levels are level and even, but there have been times where they've found things that they weren't necessarily even looking for. But, of course, prevention is so often a key to health. So it's being proactive. So, anyway, if you want to feel like your younger self, the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana can help. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. Okay, let me knock out a quick break, y'all. We'll come back, go around the SEC. I have not yet commented on the Michael Oher, Tui family blindside saga going on, but I have a quick thought on it. We'll do that when we come back, and we'll go around the SEC. Taylor Calandro is going to be in studio for Bourbon Dictionary in about 15 minutes from right now, so if you've got booze questions, get them in. Email us. Tweet Xus.
Hey, Twitter. Oh, no, not Twitter. Hey, X world.
At Matt Moscona, or you can text me in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. All right, it's After Further Review. Stick around here. We'll continue.
AFR.
Get Gordon. Get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Actually, GetGordonBillboards.com. GetGordonBillboards.com. I love the creativity. They always got something going on over there, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If it's getting me custom sneakers, or, okay, well, like dozens of people custom sneakers. I just happen to be a lucky one on the list. Or letting you design the next Gordon McKernan billboard, you can do it. You can win up to $2,000 in prizes. So get creative. Go to the website, GetGordonBillboards.com, GetGordonBillboards.com, and you can see right there the rules, how you can register and submit your artwork, and your design potentially could be seen on a billboard around town. So go to GetGordonBillboards.com to learn more how you can enter and win up to $2,000 in prizes. As we tell you all the time, if you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. GetGordon.com, GetGordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
There are, as the saying goes, two sides to every story. You probably saw earlier this week that Michael Oher is suing the Tui family, who apparently have a conservatorship over him, something he says they tricked him into signing, and for which they were able to profit off the movie The Blind Side. Well, he made no money, yada, yada. You've heard the story by now. I haven't said a word about it yet because I believe, and I've learned doing this job long enough, that there are two sides to every story. And sometimes when you open your mouth without hearing both sides of the story, you end up looking very, very stupid. And for many people today, that is probably the case. So the Tui family has responded. As a matter of fact, Sean Tui told the Daily Memphian? So if you're from Memphis, you're a Memphian?
I guess so.
The Daily Memphian. Sean Tui said, and I quote, "We're devastated. It's upsetting to think we would make money off any of our children, but we're going to love Michael at 37 just like we loved him at 16. He went on to say, Sean Tui did, quote, "We didn't make any money off the movie. Well, Michael Lewis gave us half of his share. Everybody in the family got an equal share, including Michael. It was about $14,000 each. We were never offered money. We never asked for money. My money is well documented. You can look up how much I sold my company for," which was $213 million, by the way. So if you're Sean Tui, and again, his quote, "The last thing I needed was $40,000 from a movie. I will say it's upsetting that people would think I would make money off of any of my children." He went on to say even further, quote, "Michael was obviously living with us for a long time, and the NCAA didn't like that. They said the only way Michael could go to Ole Miss was if he was actually part of the family. I sat Michael down. I told him, if you're planning to go Ole Miss or considering Ole Miss, we think you have to be part of the family. This would do that legally," meaning the conservatorship. "We contacted lawyers who had told us that we couldn't adopt over the age of 18. The only thing we could do was have a conservatorship. We were so concerned it was on the up and up, we made sure the biological mother came to court." I mean, it sucks. It's such a good story. It's a feel-good story. It's the reason the movie was so roundly applauded, accepted. I mean, it was a true feel-good American story, but I don't know what happened with Michael Oher. I mean, he made a lot of money, played in the NFL a long time, but apparently Oher threatened to go public with the story if the Tui family didn't give him $15 million. So now he's gone public. They're all attorneyed up and lawyered. The Tui said they'll let him out of conservatorship. They don't care about that. But the most telling thing is truly, and apparently there are documents to this. according to the attorney representing the Tuohy family, the evidence documented in profit participation checks and studio accounting statements is clear. Over the years, the Tuohys have given Michael Oher an equal cut of every penny received from the blind side. Even recently, when Mr. Oher started to threaten them about what he would do unless they paid him an 8-figure windfall, and as part of that shakedown effort, Michael Oher refused the small cash profit check from the Tuohys, they still deposited Mr. Oher's equal share into a trust account they set up for his son. And there's a paper trail for all that. So, yeah, they'll all have their day in court, and we'll see. But as the saying goes, there are two sides to every story, so lesson learned. Before you open your mouth, make sure you hear both sides of the story. All right, it's after further review. By the way, I'm fired up this weekend. UFC 292. Aljamain Sterling against Sean O'Malley. You going to be watching? I'm going to be watching. I always say, like, y'all know I love MMA, and normally when football season starts, my MMA consumption just plummets to almost zero because everything's football. So to get UFC 292, to get Aljamain Sterling, the champ, against Sean O'Malley, who, if you haven't seen Sean O'Malley, different colored hair, wiry dude, always a submission threat, going to be a really fun fight. Anyway, bet on UFC 292. Make a $5 bet on UFC 292. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, promo code Baton Rouge, make a $5 bet on UFC 292. They'll give you $150 in bonus bets instantly at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Of course, everybody can get stepped-up same-game parlays. Slide the opt-in tab at the top. More legs you add, the more money you can win. But remember, this weekend, UFC 292, DraftKings, the official sports betting partner of the UFC. Make a $5 bet on UFC 292. They will instantly, win or lose, instantly give you $150 of bonus bets only at the DraftKings Sportsbook with the promo code Baton Rouge.
21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/MMA terms. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537.
We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Tennessee Volunteers.
A freshman defensive lineman Tyree Weathersby will miss the season with injury. Freshman running back Deshaun Bishop will be out for about 2 months. That, according to Josh Heupel. Bishop was back-to-back Mr. Football in Tennessee, but Tennessee does have a crowded backfield. Weathersby, meanwhile, buried on the depth chart there on the defensive line, where the Vols do have a lot of veteran defensive linemen returning.
The Auburn Tigers.
Redshirt sophomore offensive lineman Gardner Langlow is no longer on the Auburn football team. He was a 3-star prospect out of high school. Picked Auburn over Florida State, Duke, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Utah back in the day. This is what's interesting. So Auburn's 18-man signing class from 2021, he's the 17th player to leave. The only player remaining at Auburn from their 2021 signing class is running back Jarquez Hunter.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Kentucky's added true freshman linebacker Jaquez Keys. He's a 6'1", 207-pounder. He signed with Wake Forest, and then in July entered the transfer portal before he ever played at Wake Forest. So he's going to start his career in Lexington as a walk-on. He committed to Wake as a running back and is now converted to play linebacker. He was the nation's number 53 running back as part of the 2023 recruiting class.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
And this would probably be well served to go down as best person in sports. Vanderbilt is going to donate a portion of the ticket sales for the football opener against Hawaii to a foundation providing relief for those affected by the Maui wildfires. Really cool. The Commodores face the Rainbow Warriors in the season opener, August 26th. That's week 0 game. Hawaii, the university, is located on the island of Oahu, which was not impacted by the wildfires, but 106 people have died as a result of those August 8th wildfires. A really cool thing for Vanderbilt to do. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. You know where to find them. GCOPnet.com. GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. They proudly sell the Savin line. They're a national leader among Savin dealers, but they will service all makes and models. Gulf Coast Office Products, GCOPnet.com. Okay, y'all, let me knock out our final break here of hour number 1. We'll come back, do a little Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro. Get your booze questions in. That's next on AFR.
AFR.
It's kind of crazy that the past couple of days I've been telling you about Clegs and how it's fall planting season. It's been 100 degrees outside every single day. And it's crazy to think we're into fall planting season, but it's the middle of August. Like, it's time to go get Johnny Naylor's seeds in the ground, to get those fall bedding plants ready. I mean, it's almost here. And then today I woke up at 5:30, went out to go work out, and it was 73 degrees outside. I'm like, oh my God, it actually feels like fall. Now it's going to get really hot again later this week, but fall is still almost here. Football season is almost here, and it's time to start thinking about fall. There's fall bedding plants, Johnny Naylor seeds. If you're going to get that fall vegetable garden in the ground, it's time, y'all. And Clegg's is locked, loaded, stocked up. They are ready to roll at Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. I tell you every single day to buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Relentless reporting gets results.
I'm never going to stop until we get the answers you need.
Uncovering more as the powerful try to cover things up.
What happens in the dark will always come to light.
Founding new principles and practices for the state of Louisiana.
Chief Investigative Reporter Chris Nakamoto.
Chris Nakamoto and the Investigative Unit. Recipients of Columbia University's prestigious DuPont Award.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Make this summer your backyard party year with Chris's Specialty Foods. Wings, burgers, brisket, steak, and boudin, plus great Cajun side dishes. We do all the prep, and you enjoy laughing with friends and family. Chris's Specialty Foods, Millerville, New Orleans, Prairieville, and Frisco.
Everybody loves Chris's authentic Cajun meat.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. Let's do it. Get your booze questions in, although to be very honest, not sure how much time we're going to have for your booze questions today because we've got drinking to do. Taylor's in studio. How are you, dude?
What's up? I'm good, man. How are you?
You sound so much clearer in person on a microphone than you do on the phone.
Sorry, man.
No. It's natural.
It's crispy. I mean, I hear myself.
Yes.
It's nice.
You came in because you brought tons of goodies. Let's start with, before we get to the thing we're going to drink, let's start with the thing we're not going to drink. We got commemorative bottles.
Yeah, man, we got some red wine, and both bottles are 2019.
Nope.
2023 College World Series National Championship bottles. The red is $55 and the champagne's $35. The red's really cool. It's like heavy duty glass and it's etched, and they did these for the 2019 football national championship too. And so, I mean, they look exactly the same except for the emblems, obviously. And they have the record on the red wine and stuff. It's really cool.
The company is Mono, or the winery is Monos?
Monos.
Monos or Manos.
Yeah. I'm not super familiar with them.
It's a California Cabernet Reserve. So is this something where you would drink it, or would you just put it on a shelf? The bottle is awesome.
I think it's pretty good wine. Me personally, I would just get one to have on my bar. I think it's a cool bottle. I mean, I'm not much for bottles that just sit on my bar, but something like that is cool. I mean, for an LSU fan, obviously.
If you're watching on YouTube or WBTR, there's the bottle right there. The red wine is it's a dark bottle with the etching on the front, which is phenomenal, with the national championship logo, and it's got the statistics of the series win and the season record for LSU. And then the champagne bottle is gold. What would you call it? It's a reflective bottle, almost like a reflective mirror.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like an Ace of Spades bottle. If you've ever seen Ace of Spades, just gold, metallic gold. It's cool.
Metallic gold with the colored logo, or the purple and gold colored logo on the front as well. So those are awesome, man. I mean, whether you want to buy them to drink them and then keep the bottle, or just keep the bottle and keep it corked or whatever, those are really, really neat. So those are available now?
Yep, we got them today. So, and they're available at Perkins. I'm pretty sure Government Street's getting some too.
All right. Now, would you bring us to drink?
I talked about it last week. I think we got a Rebel Barrel, formerly Rebel Yell. It's a 126 proof. It's $60. It's a wheated bourbon, full flavor, soft, a little softness from the wheat.
Definitely soft. I was surprised when you told me this was 126 proof, because it is very soft on the nose. I haven't tried it yet on the palate, but it is very soft and sweet. It's got a lot, and I love wheated bourbon.
Yeah,
it's one of the reasons people love the Wellers, which are wheated, the original wheated bourbon.
Wellers and Pappy are the two biggest wheaters out there, probably.
It's hard to find, and it's wheated muse, not wheated muse. Wheated, stop, okay? It's not 420 yet, muse. Wheated. Wheat, like the grain, okay?
You brought that on yourself.
Not the plant.
I didn't say
I saw you over there starting to itch a little bit. I saw you. But I do love wheated bourbon, and it is hard. It's hard to find. Why is it so hard to find wheated bourbon?
It's not
as common.
It's hard to find the wheated bourbons that everybody wants. I mean, some wheated bourbon is extremely popular, like Weller and Pappy and all that stuff, and it's just really hard to find. Maker's Mark is a wheated bourbon.
Good point. Yeah,
just one of the best-selling bourbons in the country. Speaking of Maker's Mark, they're coming out with their first age-stated release. It's an 11, or I think it's a blend of 11 and 12-year whiskey, cast strength, and I think it's going to be really limited. It's called like the cellar release or something. But
this is magnificent.
Oh, I love it.
This Rebel. I've never had this before, and it's cast strength. So you get some punch. But you do get a lot of softness on the palate as well, and it is complex and flavorful. That is really good.
Yeah, I mean, for you to say that, because you're not a big super high proof guy. I mean,
I like no. I want to clarify this. So I don't mind high proof whiskey. I just don't like something that is so offensive, like that it's just going to burn. It's so overwhelming that you don't taste any of the complexity, just burning your palate. I don't like that.
Sure.
So this is perfectly fine.
Yeah, I mean, and 126 proof is reaching. I mean, you're getting up there. And the next one is Elijah Craig. Our new Elijah Craig we got yesterday. So Elijah Craig doesn't do 94 proof barrels anymore, which is awesome in my opinion. All they do is barrel proof barrels. We got it. This is only available at Perkins Road. It's $90. This is 131.9 proof. Yeah, 132 proof.
I have never had an Elijah Craig barrel that I have not liked. I know that's a double negative, but I've liked every single Elijah Craig barrel pick that I've.
They're outstanding. Going back to the 94 proof. I mean, when we were first getting them, when we were getting the 94 proof, they were fantastic.
These I don't even remember. I've never had a 94 proof Elijah Craig pick. I've always had the barrel proof.
Mm-hmm.
They're all magnificent. It's like if you find one, just buy it. And they're expensive. What's that, probably about $85, $90?
$90.
$90, yeah. They're expensive.
Yeah.
But they are worth it. If you find an Elijah Craig barrel pick, they are worth it, and they sell fast.
And this is Elijah Craig barrel proof. It's just in a private barrel. We just got a lot of it because we bought the whole barrel of it.
Awesome.
So this is barrel proof, and barrel proof is still very hard to get. So, yeah.
We didn't have any time. I got like 30 seconds left. I didn't have any time for questions.
all good,
Greg Lehman asked Taylor, have you ever sabered a champagne bottle?
I have not. No.
I have. I did it a couple weeks ago. You know, I broke the top of it.
It's so hard to do.
It went into the pool.
It's so hard to
No, it's really easy. Oh, to not break it?
To not break the wine.
Yeah, no, I think you just realize you're just going to break it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Thanks for coming in, Taylor Calandro.
See you, man.
Hour 2 next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Mold Zero USA, mold-0usa.com. Let's say you saber a bottle and then champagne spills somewhere inside and you forget about it and then you grow mold.
And yeast.
Nah, well, I don't. That was a reach. That was a big reach on there. But if for whatever reason you might have mold or mildew or odor or other harmful pathogens in your home, your office building, your apartment complex, Mold Zero. It's an easier, more efficient, more cost-effective remediation option. Always encourage you to go to the website, mold-0usa.com, mold-0usa.com. When you get to the website, just scroll down, and as you scroll, you'll see pictures of the dry fog process. You'll see a link for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers report. You'll see testimonials. Great resource. Or just give them a shout. It's Mold Zero USA. Online, mold-0usa.com.
Officially, it's a fridge full of beer. Unofficially, it's free AC. Coors Light, the official beer of everything unofficial.
Bayou Ford has $8,000 off MSRP, plus 1.9% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks, along with Bayou Ford's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. 7-on-7 drills started out well enough for the Jets. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers hit receiver Garrett Wilson deep, much to the delight of the crowd. Things quickly went downhill. Buccaneers' defensive line dominated the Jets' offensive line. Rodgers sacked multiple times, got frustrated. New York's O-line still a major concern for a team with Super Bowl aspirations. MMQB senior NFL reporter Albert Breer.
They've got pieces up front, and Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh have invested in trying to put together, a top-shelf offensive line. The problem is it hasn't come together yet, and there's a lot of projection there.
Albert Breer on ESPN Radio Mornings. Buccaneers receiver Russell Gage suffered a season-ending knee injury at today's joint practice, reports ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. Ravens Pro Bowl cornerback Marlon Humphrey will undergo foot surgery, a big hit to the thinnest position on Baltimore's roster. No timeline yet for his return. Raiders receiver Devontae Adams returning from a minor lower leg injury for today's joint practice with the Rams. Dolphins defensive tackle Christian Wilkins sitting out team drills over his contract.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musu. And Mr. Toby Tumbley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Ton to do. Brian Kelly met with reporters today after practice. Let's hear plenty of what he said. And I want to get to in just a quick second a look at some of the 2024 NFL draft prospects with the most to gain. On Saturday, when reporters were at LSU practice, Mason Smith, during a team period, went down with an injury and sort of lay there for a while. The trainers checked on him. Brian Kelly checked on him. He sort of hobbled off the field. Monday, when we were at practice, he was there. They were not in full pads. They were in helmets and shoulder pads and shorts. Mason Smith was out there. And then Tuesday and Wednesday's availability, he was in full pads. Tuesday, he was full pads. And when he did everything except when they went to a team period, he was just hitting the sled, the blocking sled. So I actually posted a video of this on social media if you want to see for your own eyes. Mason Smith in full pads, like hitting a sled and chopping his feet and moving just fine. Brian Kelly, when he met with reporters after practice Wednesday, was asked about Mason Smith and his status. Here's what he said.
He's been banged up a little bit. Nothing that we're overly concerned with. There's no structural damage to any joints or, things of that nature. But look, he's been out for a year, and everything hurts a little bit more after coming back into it. But he had an ankle sprain, nothing that we were really too concerned with, but we're concerned with everything, right? When you have a player of his caliber. So we're going to be careful with him.
for what it's worth, and I always look for validation of or invalidation of opinions from outside sources. Something you'll often hear us talk about here is, okay, like I try my best to look at something impartially as I can to give you an honest opinion. But I also realize that I'm a human with bias, just like you are. We all are, to whatever it may be. In sports, the teams you love, in life, your family, close friends, whatever. And so sometimes I look for like independent third parties that you might trust, a source to validate or invalidate an opinion on something. And we've talked so much about Mason Smith, and we've talked about how he was obviously this 5-star, number 1 defensive lineman, how he's, Mike Detillier told us about him when he was a sophomore in high school. He's the best big man from the Bayou that he's ever scouted in 30-plus years. And so you hear all this stuff, but then you look and you realize, look, he played 9 games as a freshman, and then last year played in 1 game, 1 series before missing the whole season. So you start to look and go, okay, well, was all that just high school hype because he was this giant guy, or is it validated? Well, Matt Miller over at ESPN.com has a piece where he discussed 10 players in college football that have the most at stake. Matt Miller is an ESPN NFL draft analyst, and he looked at 10 players in college football with the most to gain or lose this season with respect to the draft. And the number 1 guy on the list was Quinn Ewers. Number 2 is Mason Smith. And he talks about Smith having the potential to be the first defensive tackle taken in this draft. He quotes an AFC scout who said, quote, "Go back and watch Smith's freshman tape, and you see this dude dripping with potential. He's big, but he has a first step that'll hurt you. He could be a top 10 pick if he's healthy." It's not me saying it. That's an AFC scout, a scout for an AFC team telling you, if this dude's healthy, he could be a top 10 pick in the first defensive tackle taken in the draft. So it's another reason to be excited about Mason Smith, but it also underscores what Brian Kelly is saying there. And I hate to draw a what and what comparison to college and the NFL, but this one I think plays. Every year in the NFL in camp, they have veteran days off. They have scheduled veteran days off in camp where veterans just don't practice. Because what's so important in the NFL when you have a 17-game schedule over 18 weeks is having your best players available on Sundays. So much of an NFL week is, I understand it's NFL, not college, but so much of an NFL week is getting guys ready to play on Sunday. They play, they break their bodies down, and the rest of the week is just building them back up to be ready again for Sunday. And I kind of look at Mason Smith right now in that same light. Yes, Mason Smith missed all of last season. So there's game condition and a lot of stuff that he'll have to get back. But there's no sense in rushing anything with Mason Smith or taking any chance with Mason Smith. So he's out there doing all the drills, but when they go 11 on 11, it's like, hey, dude, go hit the sled. We got this. We'll let other guys get these reps. Because you realize how important he is to your success or failure as a defense, having that monster right in the interior of your defense. So Brian Kelly telling you Mason Smith, healthy, good. He's just hurting a little bit. It's more important to have him ready to go September the 3rd against Florida State than it is to have him ready to go August 16th in the second full week of fall camp. This list, by the way, or this piece by Matt Miller, the other interesting takeaway, aside from Mason Smith, he lists of the 10 prospects, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are quarterbacks. Quinn Ewers, Spencer Rattler of South Carolina, Shadur Sanders, Deion's son at Colorado, Sam Hartman, who transferred from Wake Forest to Notre Dame, and then Cam Rising, the quarterback at Utah. And in understanding, that's 5 prospects, not counting Caleb Williams, Drake May, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels. I mean, you're going to see 2 things. Number one, it's obviously going to be a great quarterback year in the draft where the top of the draft is just littered with great quarterbacks. But I think it's also going to be a year in the draft where there's going to be great value outside of round one. I mean, just consider, I rattled off 10 names right there. I rattled off 10 names where you know there aren't going to be 10 quarterbacks taken in round one because there aren't going to be 10 teams who need a quarterback in round one. So the point being, this may be a draft where if you are the New Orleans Saints and you're thinking a quarterback behind Derek Carr that can sit, be groomed, and then be the guy, if it's not Jake Haener, you may get someone you have graded as a first-round talent in round 2 or 3. So there may be great value in this draft at quarterback where the Saints would pull the trigger on a quarterback. Again, think about what I think Tennessee is maybe a great example, where you've got your veteran right now in Ryan Tannehill. Last year, they used a third-round pick on Malik Willis, and then they came back this year and used a second-round pick on Will Levis, who, going into the draft process, a lot of people thought was going to be a high first-round pick and had some buzz as the number 1 overall pick. So if you're Tennessee, you feel like in back-to-back years, you got guys that some teams had a first-round grade on, but you were able to get outside of round 1, and maybe you hit on one of them. It's much easier to justify taking a quarterback outside of round 1, especially if you get great value on them, because if you do miss, it's not as big of a hit. For example, like the Saints taking Zach Bond in round 3. Yes, yes, that's a valuable pick, and you get great play. I mean, Alvin Kamara was a third-round pick. You get starters in round 3. You get starters in all rounds, quite honestly. But it's easier to take that chance on a quarterback because you know if you take a quarterback in round 1 and it doesn't work, it feels like it sets your franchise back. Look at the Jets, where you used the 3rd overall pick on Darnold, the 2nd overall pick on Zach Wilson. So when you miss on that first rounder, it feels like it sets you back. It's less of a challenge when you use a pick in rounds 2 or 3 because you could justify more. It's just not as high of an asset. So I thought it was interesting, just something worth kind of keeping an eye on there. That the buzz for Mason Smith is not just originating out of Baton Rouge. It's everywhere. Okay, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Pluckers. Remember, if you were thinking about having your fantasy football draft, have it at Pluckers. The commissioner or whoever sets up the draft, everyone who sets up the draft gets a Pluckers gift card. They'll dedicate a screen for you so you can get your whole team there, hang out. Really cool place. Pluckers. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dining, carry-out, or delivery. Pluckers, if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird. All right, let me knock out a break. What we got coming up? We talked with Maddy Hudak last hour, kind of one final look back at the Chiefs Saints preseason game, but Pro Football Focus doled out some grades, and there were two in particular, one in particular that really floored me, and we'll get to that in a bit. And also, if you haven't heard yet, some pretty devastating news for former LSU Tiger Russell Gage. He suffered an injury today in camp. It looks like he's done for the season, and while that's devastating for Russell Gage, that does have an impact, obviously, on the NFC South because he's a receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I do want to peel back the layers of the onion on that a little bit when we come back. So stay with us here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. Get to the website, y'all, ProChargeEV.com. In particular, yes, listen, if you're a homeowner and you own an electric vehicle, you need that EV charger for your home, of course, ProCharge EV can help. But in particular, if you are a business owner, if you own a business or a commercial property, listen, there will be a time in the not too distant future where every single public building is going to have electric vehicle chargers. Every hotel, every office complex, every apartment complex, every grocery store, shopping center, mall, all of them. There will be electric vehicle chargers everywhere. And our government has committed funds to ramping up EV infrastructure. Take advantage of it now. ProCharge EV is local right here in Baton Rouge. They service the entire Gulf South. So even if you're listening outside of Louisiana, get to the website and get more info on this. ProChargeEV.com, ProChargeEV.com.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Obviously, they've got some really good players, really on both sides of the ball. They operate really well offensively. You know, we'll get a chance to see, you know, what they look like with a new offensive coordinator, so that'll be a little bit different for us. But yeah, they got a lot of really good players. This should be some good work. We're looking forward to getting on the road tomorrow and going and working against those guys.
That was Dennis Allen. Saints had practice on Tuesday evening. DA met with reporters. And then Saints are wheels up today out to L.A. They'll have joint practices with the Chargers on Thursday, Friday. They'll have a walkthrough Saturday, and then they'll play Sunday in SoFi against L.A. in the second preseason game. A couple of other things. We did get to see Darrell Williams for the first time in a Saints jersey at practice on Tuesday. Here was Dennis Allen on how Darrell Williams looked and what they liked about him.
He's had some success in our league. He had a really good workout the other day, moved around really well. He's a big physical runner, and we felt like he'd be somebody who'd be good to bring into the mix and see what he can do.
If you check out the Saints Twitter, they do have some photos of Darrell Williams in the Saints uniform. I know we've talked about it a little bit, but it is pretty cool when they're bringing not only the LSU guys, of course, but guys from New Orleans back home to New Orleans to wear the black and gold. Of course, guys grew up, cheering for or watching the New Orleans Saints. So to see Darrell Williams, he's rocking 34, by the way, in the black and gold. That's pretty cool to see. I know there's the ongoing question always about, well, was this, Sean Payton hating the New Orleans Saints? No, the question was always about the draft. I mean, the Saints have brought in plenty of LSU guys over the years in free agency. Matt Flynn was a free agent who they brought in. I remember Ronald Martin, Ryan Baker. There were plenty of guys throughout the years that they brought in. They drafted Will Clapp, but it was more. They traded for Quan Alexander a few years ago with Sean Payton. The question is always about the draft, and I'm still curious to see if we do ever see that. But I've talked about it so many times over the years. You go look at the numbers, how many times, how infrequently, for example, the Atlanta Falcons draft Georgia Bulldogs or the Miami Dolphins draft Miami Hurricanes. It's just you have to have a player on the board, at the top of your board, at a position of need that you're looking to draft at that moment in the draft when you're up. So anyway, it's great to see Darrell Williams and Jarvis Landry last year and Tyrann Mathieu and Foster Moreau and Jontre Kirkland. It is cool to see the New Orleans area guys getting to play for the Saints, and, of course, when they have the LSU tie. Now, the other bit of good news here is Dennis Allen gave an update on Kendre Miller as well.
He'll travel with the team. He will travel. Yeah, he'll rehab from there. And look, I think there's a chance that he might be available for the game.
That is a really surprising tidbit. If you missed it, Dennis Allen said Miller could be available for the game on Sunday. Now, if he's ready and a go, great. It would be foolish to put him out there if there's any limitation whatsoever. There's just no need to do that. Have that dude ready to go week 1 against Tennessee. But that's fantastic news because if the thought is even that he could be available for Sunday, he most definitely would be available for week 1. So when you start to project ahead, yes, Jamal Williams, Kendre Miller, and Darrell Williams would be your 3 backs available, and potentially even a guy like Ellis Merriweather, who played really well this past weekend for the New Orleans Saints in week 1 of the preseason. So, again, Dennis Allen meeting with reporters. We'll talk plenty more about the Saints, Chargers, what to watch as we get closer to that and all that good stuff as well. The really disappointing news today for a former LSU Tiger from one to the next with Darrell Williams there is Russell Gage. And you probably have heard the news by now, but Russell Gage suffered a season-ending injury, what's been determined to be a season-ending injury for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at practice. The Bucs and the Jets were having a joint practice today, and Russell Gage was carted off the field. Everyone is reporting that it was a season-ending injury, so Russell Gage is going to be done for the season. There's 2 parts of this. Number 1 is talking about Russell Gage, who's the guy from Baton Rouge who went to Redemptorist, who's a former LSU Tiger, as we all know. And the thing about Gage is throughout his entire career, from high school on through, he's sort of been an underdog story. When he was at Redemptorist, he was a 3-star. I went back and looked it up today. In the 247 composite, he was the number 946th overall prospect. So this was not a guy that was highly thought of coming out of Redemptorist. As a matter of fact, he spent his first 2 years at LSU playing defensive back. And then end of 2016, they converted him to wide receiver, had actually led LSU in receiving in the Texas A&M game that year. And then in 2017, ended up having a good year. But keep in mind, the receivers on that team, Malachi Dupree, DJ Chark, Traven Doral, D. Anderson, plus you had Deshaun Smith, Foster Moreau, Leonard Fournette, Darius Geis. He was completely overshadowed and still made enough of an impact, and then was a 6th-round pick of Atlanta. And despite being a 6th-round pick, he made the team, and we all thought he made the team as a special teamer. Well, then he ends up being a pretty good wide receiver there in Atlanta, and then ends up getting broke off by Tampa last year. And Tom Brady called him and enticed him to go to Tampa. And then Gage took a pay cut to stay in Tampa this year, and then suffered that injury, which is so unfortunate to see, man. You wish him a speedy recovery and hope all's well for Russell Gage, but guy that was entering what would have been his 6th year in the NFL this season, or entering his 6th year in the NFL this season, is going to miss the season due to injury. Now, so that's one part, of course, is the part about Gage, the Baton Rouge guy who prepped at Redemptorist and went to LSU. The other part is what this impact means for Tampa Bay's offense, because, of course, Tampa Bay's in the NFC South, and they have the lowest projected win total and the lowest playoff probability and the lowest division championship probability. And when you look at Tampa Bay, a year ago, Russell Gage was their 4th leading pass catcher. It was Evans, Godwin, Fournette, and then Gage. Gage was 4th. Evans and Godwin are both back, but Evans and Godwin both had a 1,000-yard season a year ago. The problem with Tampa was very obviously their offensive line was atrocious. Their defense wasn't any good. But Tom Brady still threw for a lot of yards, and Evans and Godwin both went over 1,000 yards receiving. Well, Fournette's gone, as we all know, and now Russell Gage is out for the season. So you start to look at Tampa and you go, what is left? Tom Brady is gone. You've replaced him with Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask. Evans and Godwin are back, but Fournette's gone. Russell Gage is out for the year. What do you have there offensively? one sort of fun little tidbit is Trey Palmer had a really good week one of the preseason. Another former LSU Tiger, Louisiana guy from Kentwood who played at LSU, transferred to Nebraska. Palmer had a really good week one of the preseason against Pittsburgh, and he's probably the biggest beneficiary right now of the Russell Gage injury because this is going to allow for more opportunity for Trey Palmer in this preseason to step up and get those reps that are now vacated by Russell Gage. So, of course, it's interesting because it's an NFC South team, and it's a couple of former LSU Tigers there that we're talking about, but Russell Gage, he's done for the season with a knee injury suffered today in camp against. It was a joint practice up in New Jersey between the Bucs and the Jets. So unfortunate for Russell Gage. Wish him a speedy recovery and get back next year. Okay, y'all. It's After Further Review, brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank and vinyl siding. Tell you about it all the time. It is Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com, and not just windows, doors, and siding. But the other thing now that Relief Windows also offers is indoor window shutters. So it'll certainly beautify your home and those windows from the interior, but also they won't crack or chip or paint. They'll make your home more energy efficient as well. It's an extra layer of protection and security from those elements outside with these 100-degree temperatures. It's Relief Windows. Of course, they measure twice, they install once, they only install the best products, and most importantly, it is the people. When they come to your house, it's friendly people who come to your house that'll measure twice and install once. It's expert craftsmanship. It's the highest quality products. And like we always say, Brandon Holly says it all the time, in business, you have to be willing to spend your last dollar to make your customer happy. And everyone at Relief Windows lives that and exemplifies it. It's Relief Windows. Windows, door, siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. I mentioned that if you were here in hour number one, we had Maddy Hudak with us. And by the way, someone texted the show and said, I'm disappointed that it's not Maddy Hudat. Thought I was saying Hudat. No, it's Hudak. Hudak is how you spell it. But we talked about the rookie linebackers. And this was really interesting to me because Pro Football Focus put out their week one of the preseason grades for the rookies in week one of the preseason. The highest graded rookie across the NFL in week one of the preseason was, incidentally, Eli Ricks with the Philadelphia Eagles. I know we've talked plenty about him, and my feeling is if Eli Ricks is healthy, after battling legit shoulder issues at both LSU and Alabama, if he's healthy, he's an NFL player all day, every day. But after Eli Ricks, the next highest rated rookie defender from week one of the preseason at any position was Anthony Orji of the New Orleans Saints. He graded out at 92.6. If you're wondering, the other rookies, Brian Brzee graded out at 46. Isaiah Foskey graded out at 38.7. Oof. Jordan Hoden, the fifth-round safety, 54.7. Anthony Johnson, the undrafted cornerback, a 65.2. Cornerback Adrian Fry, 77.9. Nick Anderson, 67.9. Jerron Cage, 28.6. We talked on Monday, the big takeaways, and I thought Ryan Connolly and Ty Summers both played very well. They flashed. And sometimes if it's you or me and we're just a novice watching a game, even if you're watching intently and sort of taking notes, like I tend to do when I'm watching a game because I know I'm going to have to talk about it, you still don't know exactly what you're looking at. Meaning you don't know what the coverage is, whose responsibility is what. Like it takes a scout or someone who's trained to know what exactly they're looking for to notice some of those things. And like I always talk about it with Pro Football Focus, it's not the metric, it's just a metric. It's something else to consider with all the other information. But this was interesting because the guys who it looked like performed the best in the game on Sunday were the ones I just mentioned. But Anthony Orji is the guy who graded high. So sometimes what you're doing away from the ball, making sure you're doing your assignment and impacting the games in other ways than just stats, can be impactful. And that makes you think, circle Anthony Orji. He's the guy defensively we talked about after the draft. The two undrafted free agents we talked about the most were certainly of the rookies. A.T. Perry we talked about plenty, but Anthony Orji was one of them because he was a guy who played at a very high level in the SEC and was one of the leading tacklers in the SEC. And when you produce at that level, for obvious reasons, there's a translatability. So I'm going to be certainly more keen in watching him this week in week 2 of the preseason after that Pro Football Focus grade. By the way, if you're wondering about A.T. Perry, of the offensive rookie grades, A.T. Perry was the was the 7th highest rated rookie offensively. Aiden O'Connell, the former Purdue quarterback with the Raiders. Dalton Wagner of the Raiders, DTR with the Browns, Sean Ryan of the Baltimore Ravens, Jordan Addison with the Vikings, Tank Dell of the Texans, and then there's A.T. Perry with a grade of 83.2. All right, it is After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Let me knock out a quick break, y'all. We'll come back. We'll do a little overrated, underrated. We got Tigers and the Pros still coming up. Some Pluckers trivia next hour. We got the final S&P Plus rankings updated before the start of the season. We'll get to all that. We're heading to Auburn to check in on Auburn camp with Zach Blackerby. Man, we got a ton to do. We're like all football wall-to-wall, and glad to have you hanging out with us here on a Hump Day edition of AFR.
AFR.
And every Hump Day edition of AFR is presented by Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Tonight and every Wednesday, of course, trivia, 7:30 at Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock at Nicholson. Get your team together, get on by, test your knowledge, win Pluckers gift cards. If you don't win a round, remember, every team, regardless, gets to spin the prize wheel, so you'll win something. Pluckers gift cards, Amazon gift cards, other great prizes from local retailers. It's just a really fun night to get out. Play trivia if you love doing that. Have some wings, drink some beer, watch sports on TV, make a night of it. That's every Wednesday at Pluckers, Nicholson and Bluebonnet. 7:30 at Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock at Nicholson. Now, remember also, football's almost here. We're getting closer to week 1 of the NFL. If you're going to have your fantasy football draft, get your team together, have your draft at Pluckers. Every commissioner, if you have the draft at Pluckers, every commissioner gets a Pluckers gift card. They'll give you your dedicated TV to cast and everything like that. It's at Pluckers. You like our wings? Give the bird.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come home in Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down to
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Bayou Ford has $8,000 off MSRP, plus 1.9% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks, along with Bayou Ford's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to Six Rings Baseball.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
In about 25 minutes, we'll dive deeper into everything Brian Kelly had to say today. If you're just joining us, just knocking off of work, the first question out the chute for Brian Kelly was about Denver Harris. Muse, would you hit that one, please, real quick? This was Brian Kelly's 11-second update on Denver Harris today.
Denver is handling some personal matters, and if he takes care of everything, could have him back this weekend.
So that's a good thing. Not dismissed from the team, still around. We talked about it earlier. Went full on into my opinion on the matter, which is basically Denver Harris is running third-team cornerback. If he wasn't a 5-star, I don't think as many people would care, but I understand why you do. The bigger issue with Denver Harris is right now with Denver Harris absent and J.K. Johnson injured, after your first two, Chestnut and Zaya Alexander, your next two are sophomore LaTerrence Welch, who was a backup a year ago, and true freshman Ashton Stamps. Those are your next two corners. The only other available scholarship cornerbacks you have are Jeremiah Hughes and Ryan Robinson, 2 more freshmen. So of your available cornerbacks, 2 transfers, a sophomore, and 3 true freshmen. You're thin. I like the first 2. You're thin behind them. All right, y'all. It's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Brian Kelly got into a bunch. We'll get into quarterbacks, using starters on special teams, which we've told you about. We'll get into all that coming up here in about 25 minutes from right now. Right now, though, let's do a little overrated, underrated.
Overrated or underrated?
I personally think he's criminally underrated.
I want to start.
It's been a minute for this one here, man. What you got?
Kevin Gotro sent a text and said, overrated, underrated, eating gumbo outside only when it's cold. I'm sorry, eating gumbo only when it's cold outside. I don't know if that's necessarily an overrated, underrated. I think it's more just, is it acceptable to eat gumbo when it's hot outside?
Yeah, I mean, yes, it is. I mean, for sure it's acceptable. It's just, I don't think it's really something that many people do. Like, I would eat gumbo right now if you gave it to me. I would not request gumbo when it's 110 degrees outside.
You're wearing a jacket.
That's because it's freezing in this room.
So you would eat gumbo in here right now?
In here, sure, why not?
There you go.
But that's what I said.
You said it's 110 degrees outside. And you
it probably is. That's not what I said.
You wouldn't
I said I
gumbo.
wouldn't request gumbo. If you
wouldn't
gave me gumbo in
right
here,
now?
no. If you
because
gave it,
you could have something to eat right now in the studio. What would you want?
Oh, not. I mean, that's. Pizza. Pizza's fantastic.
Would that change regardless of season?
No.
Well,
But
that's
why?
the point.
Okay, but I'm not saying I wouldn't eat it. I'm just saying I wouldn't request it. There's a difference there.
When would you ever request?
Like
gumbo?
if somebody, absolutely. I mean, winter for sure. But that's the point. That's when I would request it. I'll eat it whenever if it's there.
I don't think you would ever request it. In the winter, if it was December and we're sitting in studio, and I say, hey, I'm gonna get food for the studio. What do y'all want? You're gonna say pizza.
Okay.
If that was your answer.
Yes, but if you're just looking at studio, like if I'm out to dinner or something, oh look, a cup of gumbo as an appetizer. Yeah, sure, it's December.
I would do that
I'm
right
all in
now
for it.
if it's air conditioned in a place I'm in. I think the thing about gumbo when it's cold outside, people think of it in terms of tailgating, or if you're like eating by a campfire. I think that's what people think of gumbo. When it's air quotes gumbo weather, it's when you're doing outdoor activities where you would eat something outside. Like right now, if we were having a pool party and inviting people over this weekend, we wouldn't cook gumbo because we'd be outside. No one wants to eat gumbo when it's 100 degrees outside when you're outside. But if you're inside an air condition, like if I went to the Chimes for dinner today, I could get like duck and sausage gumbo and feel great about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're saying the same thing here. That it's acceptable to eat gumbo any time of year. Because that's how this whole thing started.
I don't think we are.
I think we are.
I don't think we are.
Are we done with that one?
Sure.
Okay. Overrated or underrated, the zoo?
The Baton Rouge Zoo?
The zoo in
general.
general.
The zoo in general? I'm going to say underrated because I think a lot of people feel like they outgrow the zoo. But if you ever go to the zoo, you fall in love with it again. Like, I feel like we feel like the zoo is for us when we're kids, or you take your kids to the zoo. And I'll hat tip the Baton Rouge Zoo because they do a lot of awesome stuff there. The Zoo Run, which was usually called the Zoo Run, but they dropped one of the runs. It's just the Zoo Run now. They do Boo at the Zoo. They do the Brew at the Zoo, where it's like beer, go to the zoo. They're doing new giraffe exhibits over there, which are going to be awesome. Anyway, I think the zoo is awesome. But I'm probably as guilty as anyone that as you get older, you don't go to the zoo as much because you feel like it's something for your kids. But I think when adults go to the zoo, you realize, oh, this is still kind of awesome. Like, look, there's a giant elephant standing right there.
Agreed. The zoo's awesome.
Look, that's a tiger.
Yeah.
That's a lion right there.
Yeah, cheetah.
Look, there's a muskrat.
Giant giraffe.
I feel like I'm in the Lion King right now.
A lemur.
Yeah, all that stuff. Oh, look, monkeys. Where do you see monkeys?
The zoo.
At the zoo.
Sam's favorite place is the zoo.
Say again?
Sam.
Oh, Sam's favorite place is the zoo. See?
I proposed to her at the zoo.
Shout out to the zoo. What?
I proposed to her at the zoo.
You proposed at the zoo?
I did.
Wait, in front of which animal, Paul?
It was at the New Orleans.
At the New Orleans Zoo. Okay, at Audubon.
In front of the elephant statue at the very front.
So you went to the smelliest exhibit and proposed?
No, it was in front of the statue.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the elephant exhibit.
No.
Because the elephant exhibit is kind of like if you're downwind of the elephant exhibit, it is a little smelly.
Yeah.
But shout out to the zoo. Yes. I don't know what the question was, but
if the zoo is overrated or underrated.
Just the zoo.
Yeah,
yes.
just the
zoo. Underrated. Yes.
Overrated or underrated? Denzel Washington.
Underrated. Again, he's been a dramatic actor. He's been a comedic actor. He's been a voice actor. I think it's also incredible when you are known pretty universally by one name. People say Denzel. You know who you're talking about. It's not Denzel Ward. It's Denzel Washington. Or do you know any other Denzel? I don't know. So, yeah, no, even with his immense fame, I still think Denzel Washington is underrated.
Overrated or underrated? Backwards hats.
Overrated.
No reason, just...
There's no practical application. Okay. I guess...
Rally cap.
Style, that's not practical.
Very practical.
Rally caps aren't real. I think style, sure, I could be down with it. It's just overrated. I mean, what are you saying when your hat's backwards? You're saying judge me, and you may say, I don't care if you judge me, and that's fine, but if you're in a professional setting or a workplace, you're going to be judged. Some of those things matter, whether they're stated or not. So backwards, if you want to do it, fine. I mean, do you, but overrated.
Overrated or underrated? Rob Dyrdek.
I'm sorry?
Rob Dyrdek?
I don't know what Rob Dyrdek is.
You don't Robin Big? You don't remember that show? He was a skateboarder, and then he had a show on MTV, Robin Big.
Hey. Hi, Muse.
Hi.
My name is Matt Moscona. Yeah. I'm the host of this show.
I know you.
We've known each other for years, literally. Why in the world would you think I'd know who the hell that is?
I mean, that was fairly
Why
popular, I feel like, in the early
would you
2000s.
think that
That's
I
why.
would know who that is.
Because it was popular in
Paulie,
the early 2000s.
Of all the things he's ever asked me in the history of overrated, underrated, is this the dumbest thing he ever could have asked me?
I don't think so.
You don't think
not the
so?
dumbest.
So you're saying he's actually asked dumber things. You can't think of them right now?
Oh, he's definitely asked dumber.
I was
that's
about to say
fair.
that's
Okay,
probably
that's
definitely
that's
happened.
fair. Okay.
Robin Big debuted in 2006. I mean, there's some reasoning there where you maybe would have crossed paths with that in 2006. You were in your early 20s still.
You would probably know more of the businessman Rob Dyrdek than the skateboarder Rob Dyrdek.
No idea. No clue.
That's overrated, underrated.
Brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, get on by and check out our friends at South Point Volkswagen. My God, are they slinging deals right now or what? 3.9% APR for 72 months right now on the Cross Sport. I'm sorry, it's 3.9% APR for 72 months on the Cross Sport. 1.9% APR for 36 months on the Volkswagen Taos, which is the fun-sized SUV. And you can reserve your ID4 right now. If you have not driven the all-electric SUV ID4, go test drive one. Like, whatever your impression is, whatever you think about an EV, man, my thought certainly was not that they would be as powerful as they are. I mean, that thing has some get up and go to it. Anyway, it's at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, we'll do some Tigers in the Pros when we come back. Muse will have that. And in 15 minutes from right now, we'll delve deeper into all the things Brian Kelly had to say when he met with reporters today. In particular, I do want to talk about the running back depth, development of the offensive line, using starters on special teams, what his expectations are for the scrimmage coming up on Saturday. So a lot of Brian Kelly to unpack. We'll do that coming up in about 15 minutes from right now. When we come back, Muse will have Tigers in the Pros. Stay with us here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James & Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. Was checking social media earlier today, and I saw my guy Darren James jumping on a bird, heading out to Arizona to speak at a real estate conference. And then there's a picture, and look, like the main graphic, if you're watching, there's Darren on the main graphic right there in the background. It's pretty cool. Anyway, agent225.com, agent225.com. If you're buying or selling, if it's commercial or residential, you need a realtor. I've told you this before. There was a survey done during COVID. Most stressful experiences for humans, life experiences. Number one on the list was moving. Number one. More than marriage, more than the divorce, more than having a baby. Instead of having a stressful experience, have an enjoyable one. Selling your home and making the moving process easy. Darren James can make it happen. 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, you can lease a new Toyota 4Runner for $489 per month. That's right, you can get a brand new Toyota 4Runner for only $489 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Officially, it's a fridge full of beer. unofficially, it's free AC. Coors Light, the official beer of everything unofficial.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Muso, Tigers in the pros. Hit it, Muse.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Muse. When I said hit it, I meant hit the open, not take a hit. Come on, Muse. It's 450. I get
this
it.
guy.
That's
jeez. All right. Anyway.
Paulie loved it. Look at him. Paulie loved that one.
Oh, anybody asked you, Paul?
He loved it. I got him.
Earlier today, Major League Baseball.
Put it down.
Alex Lang in relief for the Detroit Tigers. Got his 4th hold of the season. 1 perfect inning, shutout ball. Didn't walk anybody. Struck out 211 pitches, 8 strikes. Hashtag efficiency. Tonight in Major League Baseball, Tiger on Tiger crime. Aaron Nola will face off against Kevin Gausman. Phil's Blue Jays. Each guy looking for win number 10 on the season. Nola comes in 9-8. Gausman comes in 9-6.
LSU baseball had a pretty cool tweet earlier today.
Did they?
It's the Nola versus Gausman, Tiger versus Tiger time. They had pictures of each of them in their LSU uni.
That's cool. Good.
Yeah.
That's good. God, those uniforms with Nola. They were so good.
So, I prepped your segment more than you did.
I mean, I had the game in there. What are you talking about? Paul Skeens made his debut yesterday
I wish.
No.
Boy, do I wish.
No.
Boy, do I
He's
wish.
from California and then went to Air Force. Made his debut in single A last night. They gave him an inning. Gave up a hit. Stranded runner at third base. Didn't walk anybody. Struck out 2. See you next time.
Did you see Pitching Ninja?
Is this the changeup or the sinker? He was all over Pitching Ninja.
This is a matchup. It's a sequence of all his pitches.
He broke this one slider off on some fool.
He's wearing 39, by the way.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't like that.
It's really, he's still good.
Yeah.
We had 16 pitches, 11 for strikes.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking at right here. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good there. Dylan Cruz.
He's good, too.
He's pretty good, too. 1 for 4 last night. Drove in a couple runs. Scored a run of his own. Up to 326 now, the average for Dylan Cruz. Gavin Dugas, his teammate, productive at the bottom of the order for the Fred Nats. 0 for 2, but scored twice, walked twice, and drove in a run, did Gavin Dugas. And finally, we'll wrap things up with Jacob Berry.
Jacob Berry.
2 out of 4 for Barry. His 3rd home run of the season, his 3rd double of the season. Drove in a run, scored twice, and walked. That does it for baseball today.
Wait. You Here's the homer.
Oh, yeah, here's the homer. Let's see, that camera angle's terrible. Oh, right side of the plate homer.
Right side of the plate. Oh, look, I prepped that better than you did.
I wouldn't have believed it if I didn't see it with my own two eyes. That's only the second home run I've ever seen Jacob Berry hit right-handed.
Dead pull, too.
Dead pull.
Pretty good.
Dead
Pretty
pull.
good. That's a beautiful park.
It is, man. Pensacola Blue Wahoos.
Jacob Berry.
We'll wrap things up with golf. Second round of the FedEx Cup playoffs get underway tomorrow. Sam Burns is through to the second round. He'll tee off at 11:27 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Paired with American Chris Kirk. See if he can punch his ticket to the Tour Championship. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, servicing all of Louisiana, where Louisiana has gone to get engaged for more than 40 years. Check them out. Baton Rouge, 2 locations. New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and online at LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, it is after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here on a Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Pluckers. Of course, you have Pluckers trivia every single Wednesday night. So make plans, get your team together, get on by Pluckers. We got Otter Locks coming up next hour, so pretty good opportunity here, man. Make some bets, get on by Pluckers, watch some games, eat some wings, drink some beer, play some trivia, win some gift cards over at Pluckers. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dining, carryout, or delivery. 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings. Pluckers, you like our wings, we'll give you the bird. Hey, yesterday we checked in with Alabama fall camp. Next hour, we're going to head to Auburn, check in with our guy, Zach Blackerby. I want to, over the rest of this week and into next week, get a camp check-in with every one of LSU's opponents this year. So Peyton Thorne, the Michigan State transfer, was thought to be the front runner for the Auburn quarterback job. Coming out of the scrimmage this weekend, maybe not so much. We'll figure that out next hour. Stay here.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Traction, TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com. Tell you every day Traction where champions are made. Remember Traction PT as well. Yes, you can always get on by Traction. And tell you if you're a parent, your son or daughter plays sports, this world-class facility with these world-class trainers where pro athletes come in their off-season to get their bodies right for their season. Your son and daughter have access to the same facility, same trainer, same everything at Traction. You can learn more about small group training memberships. It's incredible, almost unbelievably affordable, where your son or daughter can train with these world-class trainers, sport-specific programs, no matter the sport, baseball, volleyball, gymnastics, track and field, football, basketball. And remember, when you're trying to get back in the game, Traction PT is there as well, all on that same campus on Burbank in Baton Rouge. So whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, Traction PT. Traction, where champions are made.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Relentless reporting gets results.
I'm never going to stop until we get the answers you need.
Uncovering more as the powerful try to cover things up.
What happens in the dark will always come to light.
Founding new principles and practices for the state of Louisiana.
Chief Investigative Reporter Chris Nakamoto.
Chris Nakamoto and the Investigative Unit. Recipients of Columbia University's prestigious DuPont Award.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A great start for the Jets joint practice today. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers connected deep with Garrett Wilson as fans roared in their approval. Things, though, fell apart after that. Jets' offensive line was dominated by the Buccaneers' defensive line. Rodgers sacked multiple times, got frustrated. The growing pains for New York's offense could take a while to work through. ESPN NFL analyst Booger McFarland.
Offense is about getting 11 guys on the same page, timing, rhythm, preciseness, cohesion. And the only way you get those things is you got to do it under live reps and under pressure. So they may struggle a little bit early, but that's what a great defense is about, and the Jets do have a really, really good defense.
ESPN's Jeremy Fowler's reporting Buccaneers receiver Russell Gage suffered a season-ending knee injury at the joint practice. The Ravens, big hit to the thinnest position on their roster. Pro Bowl cornerback Marlon Humphrey will undergo surgery on a lingering foot injury. It's not yet known how long he'll be sidelined. A scare for the Titans today. Receiver Traylon Burks carted off the field with an apparent leg injury. The status of the former first-round pick, uncertain.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man.
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muse. And Mr. Toby Tomplin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. And oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Yep.
It's hump day.
Let's hump, everybody.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Denver Harris.
Hump day.
Not gone.
It's hump day.
Maddy Hudak was here in hour 1.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We got Pluckers trivia coming up.
Hump day.
We got Zach Blackerby coming up.
It's hump day.
He covers Auburn.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Are they going to stink?
Hump day.
I don't think.
It's hump day.
Muse, you think?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Auburn will stink?
I think Auburn will stink.
Hump day.
I smell a wager.
It's hump day.
Or is what I smell Muse's wacky tobacco over there?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Maybe that's what I smell.
You don't smell that.
You're right.
Day.
They can't smell.
It's hump day.
Thanks for reminding me, jerk.
Mike.
Appreciate
What day is it, Mike?
All right, let's get going. Tigers are back on the practice field earlier today. Brian Kelly met with reporters after practice. As we mentioned, he did give an update on Denver Harris. Just very quickly, for those that missed it earlier, if you would, here was the very quick update on Denver Harris.
Denver is handling some personal matters, and if he takes care of everything, could have him back this weekend.
So we'll keep an eye on Denver Harris if he does, in fact, return this weekend. Shared plenty of my thoughts on the whole Denver Harris situation earlier. You can check that out on demand. I get asked about, if it's not cornerback, I get asked about running back more than any other position because you got 8 guys. And 8 seems excessive, but this week we've probably seen the value of having so many running backs with Williams, Goodwin, and Diggs all on the shelf, at least to a certain degree. Brian Kelly kind of agreed that there's a lot of advantages to having a lot of running backs.
With the depth of running back, I think we all know that. I think you guys have been out here at times where, we've only had 4 running backs that were actually healthy at one time. So even with the number of 8 sounds, crazy. There's the natural wear and tear on backs that we want to keep them healthy. And so where I think that real advantage is that we can keep these guys fresh throughout the entire season.
That actually, while it sounds like coach speak and just the thing that you'd say when you have 8 running backs, it actually does make sense because he's right. You've, at points in this camp, you've had half of your running backs on the shelf. But as far as the depth chart, which no one's really been able to figure out, I get asked all the time, has anyone established themselves? No, they haven't. And here was Brian Kelly on that thought again.
We've purposely not put out one. Like, if you went into our locker room, we don't have a depth chart. My experience is once you put up a depth chart, you can go one of 2 ways. You can become really selfish or really upset. And I just kind of stay away from them. And we just kind of let them go out and compete every day. It's going to take care of itself, when we get to the season. I just think that the running back room itself, we know you can't play 8 guys. I just think that experience versus inexperience is going to win out in that room.
So Josh Williams, John Emery, Armani Goodwin, Noah Cain, Logan Diggs, Trey Bradford, I think to a lesser degree, although he may have a role. You sort of draw a line and the 2 freshmen fall to the bottom, unfortunately, for them. But we also saw a year ago where at times Josh Williams was injured, Noah Cain was injured, Armani Goodwin missed a bulk of the season. So there could well be some role for all of these guys. Does one guy get 250 rushing attempts this year? Probably not. But there's going to be a role for a lot of them. What about the guys in front of them? We know who the first 5 are, presumably. The only spot that could be up for grabs is if Marlon Martinez pushes Charles Turner for the starting center job. I'm not sure that that's going to happen, but Brian Kelly was asked about that. Or any of the backups pushing for a starting job?
We'll see how things play out. We're really looking to see, who the 5 guys that we have out there right now, which you all know who they are, can somebody break into that top 5? And so these next few days, we'll take a closer look at it and see is there somebody that can break into that top 5. But that's kind of where it is right now.
So no, Marlon Martinez would be the one. I think the more interesting question for LSU's offensive line is if somebody goes down, is there a number 6 who goes in at any of those spots, or is it the backup at that spot? For example, Marlon Martinez is your backup center, but knock on wood, none of us want to see this happen, of course. But what if Will Campbell was out for whatever reason? The guy who's been running second team left tackle right now is Bo Bordelon. Well, do you put Bo Bordelon in at left tackle if Will Campbell goes out? Or do you feel like Lance Hurd is your next best guy, so you put him in at left tackle? Or do you move Emory Jones to left tackle and Lance Hurd goes in at right tackle? that's kind of, I think, the question that you got to ask right now. Is it a situation where you're looking for your backup at each spot, or is it, here's your 5, number 6 is Marlon Martinez, number 7 is Lance Hurd, and then they go in there based on that. So I think that's probably the bigger question. The other thing I pointed out quite a lot during our practice reports is that LSU is using starters on special teams. And special teams was atrocious a year ago. I've shared this number with you too many times. They were 127th out of 133 teams in special teams efficiency a year ago. And when we've run through every unit from kickoff return, punt return, you see guys on the 2 deep, starters that are out there on special teams. And while Brian Kelly talked about the special teams making progress, here's his explanation as to why they've made that decision to put starters out there on special teams.
I think we had a pretty frank conversation with our guys about what the NFL rosters look like. I mean, for these guys to make these rosters, I'll just give you an example from the 4th round, a 4th round pick or later, it's about a 20% chance of making a roster. So you better have more in your resume than just being a positional player. You better play special teams as well. So we're just trying to be transparent with our guys and let them know that, this is what it looks like. Look, if you're a bona fide first-round draft pick, special teams doesn't necessarily need to be on your resume. But, we don't have 5 first-round draft picks. We got a lot of really good football players, but they need to enhance their resumes.
There's a ton of truth to that. And I'm going to give another hat tip to Bob Diaco. Brian Kelly and Bob Diaco. Because Brian Kelly has so very clearly made an emphasis in practice on special teams. Look, we got to watch them a year ago as well in practice. They just didn't spend as much time on special teams drills as we see them doing now. So they have full-on periods where they're going punt return, kickoff return, like live against a real look. So, yeah, there is just a much greater focus and emphasis on that. So you put your starters in there and you're putting more of a focus on it, you're going to be better. So Brian Kelly allocating the time, that's one. And then the other part of it is Bob Diaco is, you could tell he's just really good at coaching special teams and the nuance and being efficient at it when you watch them do it and the attention to detail. So all of that, I think, is very positive. One more from Brian Kelly when he met with reporters on Wednesday. The Tigers will scrimmage on Saturday. Here was Brian Kelly and what he hopes to get out of the scrimmage.
We'll try to get in, somewhere around 60 to 70 plays. It's generally the biggest scrimmage in terms of live work that we'll get. We did some situational, as you saw, goal line work today. So it will be the time where we get a lot of the starters in there, get as much work as possible. And then certainly the younger guys will get the rest of the work.
We are, by the way, the media on Saturday is allowed to watch this scrimmage. So it's in Tiger Stadium. There's a 15-minute camera photo opportunity at the beginning of practice at 10 a.m. And starting at 10:15, no more camera access, but the media is invited to stay and watch. So, we got to watch scrimmage last year. We got to watch, a full scrimmage at the practice facility and in Tiger Stadium. And like you heard Brian Kelly say, you're 2 weeks from the opener. So it's going to be the biggest full-scale scrimmage before you start to taper off and start to focus on Florida State. So I'm really excited to be there on Saturday and get a look at this squad and how they do and how they look in Tiger Stadium. So we'll, of course, have a full report for you. All right, it is After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. That's Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. If you have roof issues, think you might have roof issues, call a Louisiana company. Louisiana people, born and raised in Louisiana. Hudco's been in business for more than 20 years now. Founded in Bossier, statewide. Go to the website at HudcoRoofing.com, HudcoRoofing.com, and you'll see at the top of the page, 318-225-504-337. All the area codes in the state we got covered. Got you in the 985 as well. Just call the New Orleans number. It's Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Ask about fortified roofing. You got to learn about this. Whether you just had your roof replaced or you think you might in the future, the Louisiana legislature passed fortified legislation There's a lot of Gulf states that mandate fortified roofs. There are grant programs available, but ultimately, I'll make this really simple. With fortified, the objective is that, look, even if you have wind damage to shingles or things like that, the idea is to add an extra layer of protection to prevent water penetration into your home. So, look, you could replace shingles, but when you have to start cutting sheetrock and replacing furniture and contents of the home, that's when it gets really uncomfortable and really expensive. That's what a fortified roof does. You can save as much as 52% on your homeowner's insurance with a fortified roof. And HUDCO was Louisiana's first ever certified fortified roofing company. Learn more at HUDCOroofing.com, HUDCOroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing and HUDCOroofing.com. Okay, it is after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. We're heading to Auburn at the bottom of this hour. Our buddy Zach Blackerby will be here to kind of give us an update on Auburn's camp, as I mentioned. We will, over the rest of this week and into next week, check in on every one of LSU's opponents this year and how their fall camp is going. We looked at Alabama yesterday. We'll hit Auburn today with our buddy Zach Blackerby in 15 minutes. We'll do some Pluckers trivia when we come back, and I want to take a look at these SP Plus rankings as well for college football. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has $8,000 off MSRP, plus 1.9% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks, along with Bayou Ford's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Bill Connolly at ESPN is responsible for the SP Plus metric. If you're not familiar, this is really easy. This is not a ranking in terms of like the AP poll or the coaches poll. This is a algorithm. It is a computer metric that he has done where he uses basically 3 criteria: returning production, recent recruiting, and recent history. Essentially, how good have you been recently? Who do you have coming back? How good are the players you have replacing those that you lost? That's it. He puts it into an algorithm, computer spits out a number. And this it's funny to see how it evolves as the offseason goes, especially now because of transfer portal. Georgia, number 1, no surprise. It actually really mirrors the AP poll. The one difference is Ohio State and Michigan are flipped. So Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama. That's your top 4. Then LSU, number 5. Penn State, Clemson, Tennessee, Texas, Southern Cal. That's your top 10. Of note, the top 4 teams, how about this? The top 4 teams, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, Bama, are all within 1.1 points of each other. So Georgia's rating is 29.2 at number 1. Bama's rating at 4 is 28.1. So they're all within 1.1 points of each other. Then there's a big drop to LSU at 23.3. So you very clearly have a top 4 and then everybody else. I want to reiterate, this is a metric. It is something to consider side by side with a poll, which is just complete human bias. It's what do you think, Mr. Pollster, who gets a ballot and you get to fill it out, or Madam Pollster, who gets a ballot and gets to fill it out. So of note, I kind of look for where do the humans and the computers agree and where do they disagree? So like we said, the top 4 are the same. It's just they have Ohio State and Michigan flipped. The humans like Michigan, the computers like Ohio State. Texas, the humans have Texas 11. The computers like Texas even better at number 9, which is so odd to me. LSU season open, which I'll come back to in a second. LSU season opening opponent Florida State. The computers do not like nearly as much. The humans have Florida State at 8. The computers have Florida State at 12. The other program of note, if you're watching, there it is right there. Texas A&M somehow continues to get the benefit of the doubt from people and from the machines. The machines have Texas A&M preseason number 16. But how about Washington? All the way down at number 17. Michael Penix and company. The humans like a whole lot better. But the computers say 17 preseason for Washington. If there is the AP poll, by the way, is Washington 10, so it has them as a top 10 team. There's one team, though, on this list, not on the list, on the SP Plus ranking, and in the polls, that we are, I think, the more I look at it, ignoring at their peril. If you were here at our peril, if you were here on the show yesterday, we had Jake Crane, J-Boy, on the show with us, and I asked him just off the cuff. I didn't prep him for this. I said, because at Crane & Company, they cover college football nationally. I said, who is a team outside of the SEC that we are ignoring that we should be talking more about? And he very quickly blurted out Wisconsin. And for a lot of reasons, that makes sense. Wisconsin should probably win the Big Ten West this year. The problem is nobody in the Big Ten West is beating either Ohio State or Michigan, who are going to come out of the Big Ten East. So it really doesn't matter. The team that we're not talking about that we should be is Clemson. I don't know when we just decided we're not going to pay attention to Clemson anymore, but the polls have Clemson at 9. And the SP Plus rankings have Clemson at number 12, outside of the top 10. Almost incredibly. But No, I'm sorry. That's the wrong one. My apologies. That was the one, the previous SP Plus ranking. Let me pull up the new one. My apologies, real quick, because they updated it. It is the latest ranking has Clemson at number 7. Excuse me. Do you realize Clemson plays 3 ranked opponents all year? They got 3 ranked opponents on their schedule. 3. Florida State, Notre Dame, North Carolina. All 3 at home. The rest of their schedule is a laugher. So for as much as we're talking about giving Georgia the benefit of the doubt because they've been really good, obviously, the back-to-back national champs, and you look at their schedule and you go, where are they going to lose? Look at Clemson. It's essentially the same. It should be essentially the same conversation with Clemson because the ACC is not strong, and the tough games they do have are at home. They open at Duke. They play Charleston Southern, FAU. They get Florida State at home. They're at Syracuse, home against Wake Forest without Sam Hartman. They go to Miami, to NC State, home against Notre Dame, home against Georgia Tech, home against North Carolina. They finish at South Carolina. Everyone is talking about Florida State because they won 10 games a year ago and won the Cheez-It Bowl, and Jordan Travis came back and all the returning production and everything. I get it. But Clemson had a down year last year and won 10 games. We are ignoring Clemson at our own peril because Clemson, if you make me pick one team out of the ACC that's going to the playoff, it's Clemson. I think the SEC's got a fantastic shot of getting 2 in. I think the Pac-12 cannibalizes itself. I think Michigan or Ohio State will be in. And Clemson, I think, is the 4th team in the playoff. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. Love telling you about Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. More than 30 offices across 11 different states. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Tell you all the time, you can get by the website to Michelli.com. It's a great resource. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products that you use to weigh and measure. Highly recommend. Check out the website to see all of the different services that they offer. One of the biggest things is making you more efficient to save you money. Their turnaround time, some things which should take 7 to 10 days to calibrate are taking other companies 8 to 10 weeks. Why ship your device to Chicago? Pack it, ship it, have it calibrated. They got to pack it, ship it back. Why? Just call Michelli. They'll stop by and get it for you. Or they can do on-site calibration. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Look, selecting a vendor is all about a relationship. But in that relationship, the vendor has to deliver, and Michelli's been doing that for 76 years. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. All right. Got to get to Zach Blackerby. Also got Plucker's Trivia. Let's do this. Let's stay on time. Let's talk to Zach, and after Zach, before Otter, we'll do Plucker's Trivia. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air. Got a little bit of reprieve from the oppressive heat today. Woke up and it was 73 degrees outside, but it got up to 93, and later this week it's going to get back all the way to 100 degrees again. So if you're having trouble with your home central AC, call River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001, 752-0001. Tell you all the time where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime, where you might have an experience like Wendy Wagaspack did. This 5-star Google review came in. Prompt attention for Friday night emergencies. Told us they couldn't get here till Saturday morning, but Saturday early afternoon. Told us they couldn't get here till Sunday morning, but came early Saturday afternoon. Thanks to River City's 1 Hour Air for under-promising and over-delivering. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Go Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Make this summer your backyard party year with Chris's Specialty Foods. Wings, burgers, brisket, steak, and boudin, plus great Cajun side dishes. We do all the prep, and you enjoy laughing with friends and family. Chris's Specialty Foods, Millerville, New Orleans, Prairieville, and Frisco.
Everybody loves Chris's authentic Cajun meat.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Hugh Freeze acknowledged that before Saturday's scrimmage this past week, he had his mind made up on a quarterback, but coming out of the scrimmage, he said he needs more time. What's going on there? Let's find out. Our buddy Zach Blackerby covers Auburn, does a great job. Locked On Auburn podcast, the Auburn Daily. Good enough to join us here. How are you, man?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good, Matt. You're the GOAT.
Thank you as always for the time and the ego boost. I mean, you're my personal hype man, Zach. Like, if I ever get to a point in life where I just need someone to follow me, or I'm going to hire you just to be my hype man, just to walk around and just be my guy.
It probably costs less than you'd expect too. So.
Hey, what happened with this quarterback thing, man? It sounds like everyone's assuming it's going to be Peyton Thorne, the Michigan State transfer, right? And then now it's not. What's going on?
Yeah, and the quote you're referring to kind of got blown up and taken out of context. So Hugh Freeze was actually asked about comments he made up in Nashville at SEC Media Days. Said he and Philip Montgomery, the offensive coordinator, they had 10 days to narrow the quarterback race from 3 to 2. So he was being asked about that, dropping it from 3 to 2. And his answer was, yeah, he thought he had an idea of who the top 2 were, but after today, he needed to go back and look at tape. That's what he was actually saying. A lot of people said he thought he had his quarterback, and that's not what the question was. So with that being said, it does seem like the top 2 in the practice window that we were able to see yesterday is still Peyton Thorne and Robbie Ashford. It seems like Holden Geriner is out of the quarterback race. And I actually think we're going to have a quarterback 1 announcement by the end of the week. That's my prediction right now. I think it's coming, and I think it'll be Peyton Thorne.
Okay, so how different are we expecting, or from based on what you all have been able to see, this Auburn offense to look year one with Hugh Freeze based on what had happened there prior?
Comparing to what we've seen in Auburn the last 2 years, I think we'll actually see an offense, not just 11 dudes running around, looking like a chicken with their head cut off. I mean, the bar for offense at Auburn since 2017 has been really, really low and really, really bad. And I think finally you got an answer offensively from a play calling standpoint, from a scheme standpoint, that's actually going to put its players in situations to succeed. I mean, wide receivers, they get help with play calling and scheme to actually create space. Boy, I mean, it sounds like a novelty, but I think Auburn finally has some play callers that could help them with that. Auburn hasn't had that. Auburn's history with its wide receivers in the last 10 years has been awful because they just do not help them get open at all. And so I think that's what Hugh Freeze and Philip Montgomery are going to do. I still think they're going to run the ball a lot to help open up that play action. And I think you're going to see a quarterback-friendly offense where it's like, okay, here's a read, then tuck it and run. I think you're going to see a lot of RPO, and I think you're going to see a lot of things that are set up to help these players succeed, and that is not what we saw during the potato famine over the last 2 years.
What a way to put it. Hey, so when Brian Kelly came into LSU, we all know they had 39 scholarship players available, and I kind of feel like what Hugh Freeze inherited at Auburn is similar. I mean, that 2021 class, Jarquez Hunter is the only player remaining on that roster. It's basically like you just didn't have a recruiting class one year at Auburn. So Hugh Freeze has had to come in and supplement with the portal a lot like Brian Kelly had to do. With that in mind, Zach, where can you tell there are real strengths on this team right now on either side of the ball? And then I'll ask you the other side of that equation as well. But where are the strengths right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's not too far off. It's not quite the situation Kelly was in, but over 40 players were in fall camp that weren't in Auburn's fall camp a year ago. So, I mean, right at half of your scholarship players. I mean, it's pretty wild. I think the strength right now is your running back room. Jarquez Hunter, the lone player from that class. And if you had to pick a guy in that class to stick around, it probably would have been him. So I guess that works out. Damari Austin is a kid that's really turned it on during camp. And Brian Batty, he's one of the best special team players from a year ago from South Florida. He transferred, and he apparently had a really, really good scrimmage on Saturday. And then Jeremiah Cobb is a really, hot-shot freshman running back. So, I mean, that room is really, really good. But I tell you what, Matt, the room that has surprised me the most is the offensive line. And they went out and they totally revamped this offensive line. I mean, he brought in 10 guys within his first 6 months of being Auburn's head coach and just rebuilt it with transfers. And then guys that really didn't get that much of a shot over the last few years at Auburn. And those guys, I mean, it looks like an SEC offensive line. At Auburn, usually we've got to talk ourselves into, hey, maybe this offensive line thing could work out. But it actually looks the part. I mean, they went out and got Gunnar Britton to be their right tackle. He's from Western Kentucky. They went out and got Dylan Wade and Jaden Muskrat. Both those guys are from Tulsa. They played for Philip Montgomery a year ago. And then the center, Avery Jones from East Carolina, he looks great. And they brought Cam Stutz with them to SEC Media Days. Jeremiah Wright's a guy that all the analytics said he was the best offensive lineman on the team a year ago, but they never started him. But they've got a nice collection of dudes now that I think are going to be able to pave the way in this running game.
He's on Twitter at @ZBlackerby. Give him a follow. So let's flip it then. Where is quarterback is an unknown right now, obviously, although we think it's going to be Peyton Thorne. But where would you say is the man that's going to keep coaches up at night trying to figure out how to maximize that position right now?
I think the two biggest issues for Auburn right now is the pass rush and the wide receiver situation. And I'm not saying that there's not talent in those rooms. I just don't think we've really seen it. The pass rush, they went out and got Jaden McLeod from App State. He was the best pass rusher in the Sun Belt a year ago. And he tested well. I mean, he had a great game against Texas A&M, so you kind of hope it translates to the SEC level. But if he doesn't have a 10-sack season, I really think Auburn's in trouble. And that's asking a lot of a dude who's never played in the SEC before. I just don't know who else is going to get over 5 sacks on this team. But, they bring in Ron Roberts to be the defensive coordinator. He's known for the creepers and, simulated blitzes and things like that. So we'll see, maybe that scheme can help free up some guys and get some pass rushing lanes, to opposing quarterbacks. And then from the wide receiver standpoint, like I said a second ago, I think the scheme's going to be able to help these guys, but none of these dudes have really done it before. And the guys that are starting right now that we see in these short practice windows and just talking to folks in practice, and they still got a few weeks before the season starts, but the guys that we are hearing aren't the dudes that they brought in since Freeze has been in here for the most part. They brought in these big body receivers, Jair Shorter from North Texas, Shane Hooks from Jackson State. But it's not really who we're seeing out there a lot. It's Jay Fair, who is, this is his second year at Auburn now. So, he was a Harsin guy. Amari Kelly, same thing. And then they did bring in Nick Mardner back in December. But it's just a group of guys that I'm a little surprised by. But, this coaching staff knows more than I do.
Yeah. Man, I look at the first 3 weeks, and UMass, Cal, that's in Berkeley, and then Samford. It's a nice way to kind of wade into the shallow end before you have to go swimming in the deep end of league play, because October gets really real for Auburn. What's the general feeling around the program right now, considering questions, answers, coaching staff, early schedule, all that stuff? What's the vibe?
It's probably the most hopeful I've ever felt the Auburn fan base. And that's not an exaggeration. I mean, it's pretty remarkable that Hugh Freeze, which, when he was hired, there was clouded some controversy due to his past, right? I mean, but that was just going to be impossible to avoid, regardless of the Power 5 program to take a chance on him whenever that was going to happen. It was obviously Auburn.
Yeah.
And after about 48 hours, that went away, and he's just about won everybody over with, flipping the roster like we talked about. Auburn's flipping guys in the 2024 class, 5 stars away from Bama, 5 stars away from Georgia. There's a solid chance they're going to get a 5-star committed this weekend. And just Auburn's never really had someone try this hard before, and it's great. And it's transitioning into, donors giving money to the NIL collective. Auburn sold more season tickets this season than any other season in its history. And Auburn's been pretty good at football for a while. So, I mean, this is just kind of it's a lot of firsts, and the guy hasn't coached a game yet. So, I mean, I know it doesn't matter. This is all stuff on paper. But Hugh Freeze has had just about as good of an offseason as you could have. So I think the hope is, I don't know, I think the Auburn fan base is kind of feeling itself right now.
I mean, Hugh Freeze will make you feel good about yourself. He is very good about that. He's a good football coach too, man. They're my surprise team in the West. I don't think they're winning 9 games or anything like that, but they're going to beat somebody they got no business beating. Zach Blackerby on Twitter at Blackerby. Subscribe up to Locked On Auburn. I promise I can talk. We appreciate it as always, man. Be well.
Hey, always good to chat with you, buddy. You're the GOAT.
Thanks, man. We'll see you later. That is Zach. It's after further review. Paulie is going to be gone the next 2 days because Paulie is going to the Williamson Eye Center to have LASIK done. I'm fired up for you, Paulie. Nothing to worry about at all. Dr. Blake, you're in great hands with Dr. Blake. He's the real GOAT. And you're going to wake up tomorrow. Not wake up. You're not going to go to sleep. But you're going to sit up on the table, and you're going to be able to see a clock across the room tomorrow morning. And you're going to be thrilled. You might even cry, Paul. Bring some tissue, but not really, because it's going to hurt a little bit. It's going to be uncomfortable a little bit for a while. But, man, I'm fired up for you because it's life-changing. LASIK is life-changing. I would recommend it to anybody. If you qualify, if you're a great candidate for LASIK, do it. You've heard people forever. You have people in your life who've had LASIK who say it's the best decision ever made, best money ever spent, should have done it years ago. My hand's in the air. I put off LASIK for probably a decade, probably longer than a decade. And for a lot of different reasons. Scared of the laser, heard all the things, it wears off, all the stuff that you've heard before. And it took sitting down with Dr. Blake Williamson to realize LASIK is the most successful and safest elective procedure, literally, in the history of mankind, statistically. It's life-changing. It's awesome. Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. Okay. We're a little late, but we got to do Pluckers Trivia. So let's do it quickly before we get to the Otter. All right. How you feeling there, Muse?
We'll see.
Does it feel like a good day?
Great. Nah, I don't feel great.
I think
1-2 last week.
Okay, you've got because you had the
I got the layup.
You had the layup. What did I say? The
dunk.
The free. No, it was a layup. It was a free throw and a half court shot.
I thought it was a full court, but yeah, it's saying.
Oh, it was the full court heave. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I would say. I think you're getting 2.
Oh.
With the opportunity to throw a dart and get the third.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
You're getting if you don't get this one, I will be supremely disappointed in you.
Okay.
In tennis, what is the point scored immediately after deuce? Oh no.
I'm not a tennis person.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. I don't even know what I thought it went I thought it went 15, 30, 45, and then you win, right?
Not if there's deuce. That's when you're tied. And then after, so give yourself the buzzer.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't watch tennis, or I've never played tennis.
Advantage.
Ah, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Because you have to have advantage. You have to win 2 points consecutively.
See, that
when you
makes
have deuce,
sense.
then you get advantage, and you have to win the next point. If you don't, it goes back to deuce. Okay. This is not going well.
That should have been canceled out.
That is unfortunate that you do not know that. That was.
Yeah, I mean, dude, tennis is like.
It doesn't matter if you know
tennis.
tennis.
It does, though.
It doesn't. At some
some point?
Have you watched SportsCenter in your life?
Yeah, but
have you ever seen tennis highlights on SportsCenter?
Yeah, but not enough to pay attention to the score. I'm watching them hit the ball.
They say advantage.
Nah.
Anyway. Okay. What cooking ingredient gets its name from the French words for sour wine? This is the one I think you could maybe have a shot.
Is this the throw a dart? Or
no, the next one's the throw a dart.
Sour wine? Why did you ever think I was going to do well?
You are not a well-rounded human.
Why did you think I was going to do good at this?
Well, you work on a sports talk station.
Oh,
the fact that you don't freaking know advantage in tennis is embarrassing.
But this
is one that you could logically work your way through. It is a cooking ingredient that get its name from the French words sour wine.
Oh, wait, vinegar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
There you go. Yeah.
Slow down and think.
I had to think about it.
Yeah, which you're so busy jumping out. Like, why would you think? You didn't just stop and think.
All right, let's throw a dart.
This is your dart, okay? See, you should be 2-0 right now. All right.
Well, tennis stinks.
It doesn't matter.
It does. Oh, it's lame.
I agree with you. But I've watched SportsCenter. I've seen a tennis match in my life. Advantage Agassi.
Andre. Yeah.
I don't have time to. Never mind. Niagara Falls is located between what two Great Lakes?
Superior, Ontario,
Erie,
and
Ontario. You're close.
Hey,
I'm so disappointed in you for not getting advantage. That's you should. The fact that you're not embarrassed about that is embarrassing.
I'm not.
It's embarrassing that you're not embarrassed about that. All right, it's after further review. Otter Locks next.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Renaissance Hotel and the Watermark Hotel, two great hotel properties in Baton Rouge. The Renaissance right there on Bluebonnet, a gorgeous hotel property. Actually, there is no hotel in Baton Rouge with more luxury suites than the Renaissance Hotel. How about that? Also, with thousands and thousands of square footage of meeting space, they can host an event for up to 500 people in one of their grand ballrooms. You want to have a wedding reception, you want to have a fundraiser, an awards banquet, they can do it at the Renaissance Hotel. Call Allison over at the Renaissance Hotel or ask for Allison. She's the event coordinator over there. She'll make it happen. They're they say at the Renaissance, we are in the business of saying yes. They will find a way to accommodate you and your event at the Renaissance Hotel. They host the LSU football team. That's where the LSU football team stays the night before their home games now, at the Renaissance right there on Bluebonnet. It's the Renaissance Hotel. Remember, Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel as well. It's the Renaissance Hotel.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can lease a new Toyota Camry for $489 per month. That's right, you can get a brand new Toyota Camry for only $489 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like Hudco, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Plucker's Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Down the stretch we come, final segment on a hump day edition of AFR presented by Pluckers. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ott Father himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Doing fine. Nice night. We're doing good.
Otter, you're going to be disappointed to learn that in Pluckers Trivia, we just had a question where in tennis, what is the score after deuce? And Muso did not know the answer.
Advantage Erie.
How disappointing that a guy on a sports talk radio show.
He didn't even give me his name. That's pretty pathetic.
That is awful.
Pathetic. Yeah,
and I'm embarrassed for him not being embarrassed for not knowing that.
It's Muso, man.
I know.
He just threw in Lake Erie in that too.
Hey, this just in, a Red Sox on the slide. The fans a little bit disoriented right now. You know.
Hey, chill out.
All right. Hey, we're a little short on time, so hit me. We got about 90 seconds. Hit me.
The gift that keeps on giving. Well, we're going to stop now. Atlanta and Texas run line parlay at DraftKings, the best price at plus 317. Popped them all, popped left, right, up and down, last night. So we're going back with that again to start off. 4 straight plays tonight. Number 1 ROI team, return on investment team, is Baltimore. Number 2, the Washington Nationals. Give us the Nationals plus $1.35 at home. Should be competitive there. Houston, this is
1 minute remaining.
This started late. Houston was minus 110. Verlander. Are they still 0-0? Can you in-game that?
It's 5-0 Astros. It's minus 1150 now.
A little late to the party there.
Yeah.
All right. Gosman versus Nola.
Yeah, man.
Well, man, Nola's been great, but Gosman's had the much better year. He's got a little hill to climb to get the AL Cy Young with Garrett Cole, but minus 40 is a cheap price at home in that one. And then Baltimore, plus $1.55. Kramer's been good. Snell will get through about 5.5 innings, and then it's bullpen, no contest there. Give me the Orioles, plus the 55.
All right, Atlanta. Who did you hook Atlanta up with the parlay?
Atlanta, Texas, run line parlay.
Atlanta, Texas, run line. Also, Washington, Houston, Baltimore, and Toronto, although Houston already started. All right, Otter, we got to run, man. Have a great night. Thank you.
See you, Matt.
We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Family owned and operated since 1968. I tell you that every day because this isn't a national chain where you don't know who's running it. You don't know who's going to be there the next time you go in. When you go to Shawbills, they've been family owned and operated for more than 50 years. When you go to ShawBillsTire.com, you can find the location nearest you. ShawBillsTire.com. You can shop tires online. You can schedule service online. When you go to the website, there's a little chat bot in the bottom. You just click the little widget there. It pops up, select the location nearest you. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. You're chatting with an associate just like that can help you out. It's Shawbills, where they treat you like family. You need tires repaired, tires replaced. They have the price match guarantee at Shawbills. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. And they always treat you like family. It's Shawbills. ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ram 1500 trucks, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.